making it. Boom, and we're live. Sorry for the delay, everybody, but our celebrity guest today, Pearl, just landed like an hour or two ago, rushed here, no bathroom break. Oh. Meanwhile, the girls here have been to the bathroom multiple times because they've been warned. They've been warned. Anyways, welcome all you guys out there in internet land. There's a little thing called the internet. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it.
Today's gonna be fun.
You sound so old.
These kids these days in that interweb. Welcome to Soscast, where finance meets romance, the sexiest financial show in the world. Our goal here, as always, is to help you men out there, you studs out there, or want to be studs, improve your status, right? Whether that's money, lifestyle, dating, women, everything. We want to see you get paid, laid, and do it your way. So I said, listen, I want to arrange a show today. And I want you guys to discern from these lovely ladies' comments what type of woman you're looking for. So I said, let me find the most amazing, beautiful, intellectual, sexy, hot, willing to put out type women.
Why are you pointing at me?
She's relevant. You just kind of gave me that vibe. I don't know. Oh. And I said, I want you guys to hear their answers and hear what type of woman that you should be going after, okay? So guests on the panel today, wildly different women, but all have something to say, bring major value to the sexual marketplace, to the marketplace. So I want you gentlemen out there throughout the episode to comment what type of girl or which one of these girls you would most likely want to wife up. I think that's a fair request.
Okay.
There's certain episodes where it's like a panel discussion and we don't do a lot of super chats. This ain't that episode. We want your questions. We want your super chats. Nat's learning how to read. She's improving. She's getting better. Everything that we stand for here. So she's going to be minding the super chats. If you've got questions for these women, I've got a whole boatload of questions for these amazing women. Your question is going to go to the top of the list. With that being said, let's introduce our panel today. To my left, Heather Lee OKeefe, former Miss Montana. Current.
Oh.
Holy shit.
Okay. Get him, Heather.
Former contestant in the Miss America pageant.
No, Adam.
Miss USA pageant.
Miss USA.
Oh, I'm gonna get in trouble today. I kind of like getting in trouble though. So, the current Miss Montana.
USA.
By the way, yes. By the way, quick side note: I may be going to Jackson Hole.
That's in Wyoming.
That's in Wyoming.
It's close. Nice
so
try.
If you're familiar with Big Sky Country, that's. All right, I'm just burying myself a little bit further. Anyway, Heather Lee is here, and she's fucking hot, and she's a Miss USA contestant. That's it.
That's not it. I do other things.
She's also, well, that's not only it. All right, so tell us what you were in law school?
I graduated law school. I have my law degree. I'm now working in legal tech for an international data and analytics company. But yeah, I'm just a Miss USA contestant. We can go with that.
Listen, okay, my bad. Should have read the bio. I know the bio, but I'm drunk. So, just kidding. I haven't had a drink yet. With that being said, Heather, welcome to the show.
Adam.
Welcome back to the show.
I appreciate it.
Pearly Things is here. Pearl Davis. You know her. You love her. You want her. You want her on your podcast. We got her on our podcast. She's here. She's one of 3 redheads here today.
Fuck yeah.
You're more strawberry blonde.
Yeah.
She runs a show called
The pregame.
The pregame. Yeah. I was gonna say your channel is Pearly Things.
Yeah.
Just Pearly Things.
We're trying to get to 100 followers, so go follow.
You're about to hit 1 million.
No, we're trying to get to 100.
Did you hit 1 million?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Good
Clap
shit.
it up.
Good
I wish
shit.
we had like a soundboard. I've been requesting that for about a year now, but hey, they don't speak English in production here, so they don't get no soundboard. Oh, they're laughing over here.
Adam, you're done.
Sorry, I'm on one today. I'm on one today. But anyway, you just got back from Chicago. Welcome back. We're very happy to have you back, and we're actually super excited for you. You hit 1 million subscribers. It's a big freaking deal.
Yeah, thank you.
I remember when we hit 1 million on Valuetainment a few years ago, and it was a big deal. And now, you know, speaking of trying to get to 1 million, we got 2 girls, 1 blonde here, Jamie and Emily, comedians, proudly OnlyFans girls, making that money, smoking blunts.
Fuck yeah. I wish I
supposedly
right
celibate these days.
You're trying to start a fight, Adam.
Oh, I'm trying to get riled up today. Nat, you're in the comments section. Let's see what these guys have to say. But you guys started a podcast less than a year ago?
Yeah, we started on 4/20, 2021.
How freaking
Iconic.
appropriate.
Yeah, and
2021.
2021. So
Okay,
a
so
little over a year
ago, yeah.
And yeah, we're number 2 in stand-up comedy now. So it's very exciting.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
So just clap it up for all our contestants here today on the Find Your Wife Challenge here on Valuetainment.
Yes.
Heather Lee OKeefe, attorney, not an attorney yet, will be an attorney, will represent you. Miss USA, Pearly Things, killing it, crushing it, dominating. 2 girls, 1 blunt. Second funniest girls in the world
Yeah.
on a
Thank you.
podcast.
What an
All right.
announcement.
I know.
Guys, there's good intros and there's bad intros. Today, you're looking at what was probably known as a subpar intro, but I'm excited to have you guys here. And then speaking of excited to have you here, can we all just give a round of applause for the queen, the princess of Valuetainment, Miss Natalia Del Valle.
Hello, everyone. Hi,
She's out here. We out here.
She looks like a
Make sure you
president's
guys
wife right
like,
now.
comment, share, subscribe to the channel, and give us some good super chats. We're gonna have a nice, really good podcast today. So I can read today. My reading has gotten better, so I'm ready to read all your super chats.
What's funny is I think by osmosis, my reading is struggling today.
Yes.
But
I
today's
got
not
you.
about me. It's not even about you. It's about the girls
Yes.
and the audience picking the ideal wife that they're looking for in their life. This is actually one of those episodes where I literally want you to take notes. Okay, Pearl said this. Heather said this. Jamie said this. Well, Emily, I don't know. We'll see where we're going with this. Okay. Quick shout out to our sponsor today. New year, new you. New year, new you. I think that's fair to say. Shout out to Manscape. They sponsor. Nat, show up what we got over here. We'll click to you in a second.
Okay.
No matter what you're doing, trying to get, what you're trying to learn from the show, I think one thing that you understand, we are all about male self-improvement, becoming the best version of yourself, whether that's better, faster, stronger, cooler, sexier, wealthier, everything.
Okay.
And yeah, you like that right there,
Yeah.
self-improvement. And one of the best things you can do as a man is look good and keep it clean, ladies and gentlemen.
Have good
You
smelling
don't want to go
balls.
down there, you know, downtown. Next thing you know, it's a jungle gym. We ain't going in there, okay? I mean, this is the uncomfortable truth of what we're looking at. Even Pearl knows. She's laughing. She's what's going on. By the way, Manscaped, Pearl should be a great show for you to sponsor if you're watching. I know you are, right? I mean,
Yeah.
hello.
Sponsor.
Okay.
They left me on
So
scene. It's
if
whatever.
you're not keeping it clean, you guys really need to consider Manscaped. Natalia over there, our lovely Natalia, is going to show you some of the products they have at the one-stop shop at Manscaped. Anything you need for good hygiene, keeping it clean. Platinum package, wink, wink package. Here we go.
Oh, gosh.
Lawnmower 4.0. Here we're going for cheap jokes here today. Electric razor, no nicks, no cuts. Shampoos, body washes,
Oh.
body sprays, deodorants, upstairs and downstairs. Hey-o. There's that one dude who has like nose hairs and ear hairs. There's that guy. For
I'm
me,
that girl.
or that girl while Jamie's smoking. They also have ear trimmers, nose trimmers. Keep it clean, gentlemen. If you're that guy, if you don't know that guy that I'm talking about, then you probably are that guy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Can Manscaped get us something to shave our assholes? Because I'm struggling.
Wow.
I'm just.
Wildly
This is my request.
inappropriate. But that's Emily
You don't like
for
a
you guys.
shaved asshole?
Anyway, here's a call to action. If you want 20% off all your keeping it clean needs, your hygiene needs, you can get 20% off at manscaped.com. 20% off using the code Soscast. That's the name of the show. That's who I am. I'm Sos. There's a cast. It's a podcast. Soscast. You see how these things work. Keep it clean. So 20% off Soscast. Now let's start the show. Thank you for Manscaped for being here.
Adam, you're killing it today. I'm so proud of you.
I'm not even drunk.
Yeah.
But I
It's,
could
it's
be,
Miami
for the right
New Year's
price.
brain.
Yeah,
I
Miami
think
New
we're
Year's.
all struggling.
I feel like
from
I'm
it.
on point, but my body's not. So
Yeah.
I'm struggling. I'm overcompensating. Anyway, here is the deal for today's show. By far and away, I talk about saving money, finding your career, being a good networker. But by far and away, the most important thing as a man that you can do in your life is finding the ideal wife and then finding that wife who you're going to have kids with. Nothing is more important than that. Nothing is more important than that. So we have a wide range of women today that you can choose from for an ideal wife. Now, I've said this all the time. Some women can turn millionaires into billionaires, and some women can turn millionaires into brokies. So be very careful who you select. With that being said, let's start the panel. Do you have something you want to add to that?
No.
Pearl, I want you all over this thing today.
Okay.
I want you up and down, left and right.
Uh-oh.
I want to have respectful debates. I want you to be very vocal about your opinions. She's lovely on the inside and out. I think she's going to bring it today. People are saying that you're going to be the most quiet one today. I just want you to know that's what people are saying.
Well, I think it's maybe because you didn't let me talk that much last time. So.
Okay.
I'm ready to talk today, Adam.
She is ready to talk today. Do you agree, by the way, round table, is the most important decision a man can make who they choose to marry and have kids with?
Absolutely.
Okay. Why is that from a woman's perspective?
Because I think you should care about your children's future. And who you
I
marry
believe
and who
the
raises your
children
kids
are
is a
future.
huge
Okay.
indicator of how your children are going to be raised.
So you're an advocate that a man. So what's your advice to men when it comes to picking a mate?
Don't get blinded by love, and I think ask the important, serious questions up front. Like, a lot of people don't have those serious conversations until they're married already, and then shit hits the fan, and they've never talked about what they're going to do in a certain situation, who's going to take over finances, or who's going to be, like, you know what I mean? And so having those conversations up front, I don't think a lot of people in modern dating do that at all.
I fully endorse what you're saying. Part of the problem that I would have is, I mean, even when my younger days, and you know, I'm an old man now, right? I mean, I got salt and pepper going on here. We're getting old. I would delay important conversations. I would delay. Now, if I'm on dates with girls, I'm like, boom, what are you looking for? How many kids you want? What, like, would you sign a prenup? Would you not? They're like, and like, they're like, whoa, you're a little aggressive with these guys. I'm like, I don't got no time. I'm not wasting my time, your time, none of that time. Something else that you said, and then we're going to get round table here, is don't be fooled by love. One of the things I always say is don't fall in love with your eyes. It is so easy as a dude to just fall in love with your eyes. I have a buddy of mine, every time we go out, it's like a running joke. He's like, oh, look at that girl. I love her. Oh, look, she's so hot. I love her. Oh, so I'm like, so you just love any hot girl you see? Is like, bro, I love all these girls. I'm like, you're a sucker. You're about to get your shit taken in half real quick. Be very careful.
Look, we're women. We fall in love with our ears anyway.
Yes.
Sell me a dream, baby. Sell me a dream.
Yes.
That's true. That is true.
Pearl, no nonsense. That's such an important thing that you just said. Women fall in love with their ears. Men fall in love with their eyes. Men are visual creatures. I mean, hello, Miss USA. There's like, it's a whole like visual creature contest, respectfully. Men have to sell a woman a dream. I do this. I'm thinking about doing this. I'm starting this. I'm creating this. What if I took you here? What does that sound to you? Women's like, oh, okay. Like, oh my God, I'm dreaming now. Is that how like you interpret like dealing with a guy? Like, sell me the dream.
Yes.
Almost like sell me this pen.
Look,
Sell me a pen.
I think that's every woman. Like, most women want to be sold a dream, I would say.
Gotcha.
A real dream.
That's a nugget right there,
Actions
gentlemen.
speak
Real
louder than
dream,
words.
not
Okay.
a fake dream.
Okay, so let's go around the table. If a dude wanted to sell you a dream, sell me the dream. Like, what would you want to hear from a guy? And all of a sudden, like, you got to go throw out your panties because they're like soaking wet. You know, was that a little inappropriate? It's fine.
No.
Sell me the dream that the guy would have to tell you for you to be like, all right, I'm all in. Heather Lee.
I agree that we want to be sold the dream, but I think actions speak louder than words. So my whole thing is, if he wanted to, he would. You can say that you want to all you want, but you gotta prove it to me too. You gotta back up your words
So
with the actions.
nothing he could say could, turn you
I mean,
on
of
in that
course
regard.
you can say it, but I like a man who's a doer. Like, don't say it, just do it.
Talk is cheap. That's great. You just sold me this. Now prove it.
Yes,
Is that fair to say?
that's fair.
All right. Well, Pearly's looking to get sold a dream verbally over here. She's having eargasms.
I think she's right. You can only sell a girl a dream for so long.
Okay.
Before she's like, this guy might not have a job.
Right. Okay.
But
So, like, what do you
for
want to be
me-
told from a guy? Like,
So
before we go down the whole, like,
Okay.
actions are
You're not
louder
gonna
than
let her
words.
speak?
I'm going. She's going to speak a lot. Before we go down the, like, yes, I need it. Let's start with the verbals. What words, I'll even come back to you. What words do you want to hear from a guy to sell you this dream? Not actions.
Word. I mean, I always look to see if he's family oriented, like wants a lot of kids. If he's looking to do that soon, that's like what I would say. The dream.
So all a guy has to do is say, hey, I'm trying to knock you up a
Oh,
bunch.
okay. No.
That's all- that's it?
Sorry. You're right. That's not it. hard worker is something I look for. Athletic, I play basketball. I like going to the gym, so athletic is important.
So he needs to, well, that's more of a physical thing, right? He can look good, so
Yeah.
you'll notice that. And the hard work, like verbally, how can he communicate that he's a hard worker?
You can just hear like the passion in a guy's voice. I mean, I think like as women, we're kind of, it's like natural to us to kind of gauge how hard a guy works. Because you can just hear it if he's like passionate about what he does. There's nothing more attractive than a guy that's just really passionate about what he's doing.
I think that's very important that what Pearl just said is, there's like the famous phrase, pursue excellence, not women, or chase excellence, not women. Mm-hmm. What is it about a man pursuing excellence or working hard that is a turn on? And while he has his kind of blinders on, not focusing on chicks.
Well, because you don't want a guy where that he puts you on a pedestal. Like women don't like to be put on a pedestal and like that the guy, you're his entire world. So I just feel like as women, like we want a guy that's working on something bigger than us.
Gotcha. Pursuing passion. All right, so I'm going to come back to you before I go to the two girls. Other than actions, what words are going to sell that dream to you?
Well, I do like being put on a pedestal. I was thinking of that. Like, I want
like
a guy
Simps?
who's
You like
no, I
Simps?
mean, I want a guy who's going to put me first and put the marriage and like the relationship before everything else. Like,
Do you want him to put you first before his career?
I mean, it depends. I think there just needs to be a good balance between everything. I don't know what exactly that balance is, but I think it's important to have a balance with the relationship, career, family, but it's always important to put your partner, spouse
Would you be okay with a stay-at-home husband?
No.
Okay, so it's kind of like, we want everything.
No.
Pearl asks great questions, by the way. That's one of her superpowers, is being very inquisitive and asking very good questions. She asked you a very good question. Do you like simps? Because simps will put you on a pedestal. You're so beautiful. I would do anything for you. You're the hottest girl I've ever seen.
Okay.
All of a sudden, let's peel back this onion.
We're not going down this
We
line.
don't even know what we want. We don't even know what we want.
I think there's a difference between
Well-
simps and a man who is like choosing you and makes that.
Yes.
There's a difference between a simp and a pimp. But answer her question. So you don't want a simp, but you also want a man who puts you on a pedestal?
I mean,
Is that a little
not
bit
on
of
a pedestal.
cognitive
Maybe that
dissonance?
was being a little bit dramatic. I just want a man, someone who thinks very highly of me and, does the whole, you're beautiful, you're great, all that. Every girl
Words
likes
of
it. What girl doesn't
affirmation.
like to
I need
hear
a
that?
words of affirmation.
I am the words of affirmation
Gotcha.
girl.
Okay.
Yes.
Words of affirmation, by the way. Jamie, you look very lovely today.
Oh God,
Okay, I'm trying to sell you a dream right now, girl.
that honestly works.
What words do you want to hear from a man that will be a major turn on to you? Words.
Words. I think when a man is describing like what he's passionate about and like he has goals and a vision, like the vision is really important. And through those words, he's communicating how he's executing that vision and how he's executed it in the past. So I'm looking for like key milestones that show growth over like a course of years. And in his words, if he's talking about what he's done and how he's grown and how he's like changed as a man to become more of a man, he's not a boy anymore. Like that's what I want to hear.
So that's a turn on. Is growth, vision, mission, purpose.
Such a
because
turn
if a girl was telling me I have this vision and my purpose is I'm going to create this company and I'm checking off, I'd be like, yeah, okay, that's doing nothing for me. And I think that's the way a lot of guys feel. It's like that's great, but I feel like the best relationships, are when like the man has his purpose and his vision and the woman locks into that and she's like, I'm going to help you grow your business, your empire. Like we had this conversation the other day where it was like happy wife, happy life. And like eyes are rolling. TLA is like, okay. And I was like, give me something better than that. And the guy in the super chat said, happy king, happy kingdom. I was like, oh, okay, I like that. Because the king, he's the kingdom, but he also has the queen. The queen's kind of doing her thing. So
I was reading some studies last night actually that indicated that marriages were more successful when the wife is happy. Not that it's only the wife happy, like the man and the woman are happy, but when you focus on a happy woman, her mental health is good enough for her to be able to take care of the home and therefore teach the children like the things that they need to teach and learn and grow.
But women, we don't even know what makes us happy. It's like we feel different every single day. So if a guy's focusing on that, it's like a waste of his time because it depends where we are in our cycle.
I mean,
you already know. You already know a couple days before your period, there ain't shit that anyone can do to make you happy.
No, I would say
closer.
a lot of
Sorry.
maybe women don't know what makes them happy, but I for certain know what makes me happy and what like I look for, and I've created a very peaceful life for myself, and being able to take that into a relationship because I know what I want and what makes me happy, then.
But I think like we're not talking about you specifically. I was talking about women in general.
I mean, just because women like change their minds on things or have different conversations based on different situations doesn't mean that they don't know what makes them happy.
I also think the ability to change your mind and show that you're willing to learn and grow with that person is a good sign in a woman. If she is willing to actually listen to him and listen to her man and then make decisions based off of that and maybe change her mind and maybe be like, oh, I was wrong, and take accountability.
Sell me the dream. If a guy needed to sell you the dream
Oh, man,
to
Adam.
become Mr. Two Girls, One Blunt, be your man, what would he need to
we're
say
the
to you?
sister wives over here.
Sister wives. By the way, we're doing a buy one get one free, gentlemen. If you choose Two Girls, One Blunt,
You get two
you get
redheads.
Jamie and Emily all in one.
Yeah, I
Or
just like pop up on the dates and I'm like, hey guys, how's it going? I was
guys.
bored today.
come right in. Double the cost, but double the fun. Also double the titties. That's just
Yeah.
how math works.
Yeah.
Wow, look at us. You can't read today, but at least you can do math.
We're trying. Barely. Love that. Sell me the dream.
I love that.
Honestly, if a guy walked up to me holding a baby, it would be game over. he wouldn't even have to say anything. I'd be like, okay, you can just breed me now.
Hold on. Hold on.
So would
A dude just needs to roll up with a kid, and you're like, all right, I will take you away from your wife, and I'm now raising that
Well,
kid.
okay,
Is that
so
what you're saying?
in this hypothetical situation,
Yes.
hopefully the child is both not abducted and
motherless.
also not, he's not married. That's the goal.
You'd prefer a single dad over a single guy?
I don't know if I would necessarily prefer it, but I would absolutely be a stepmother. I have a lot of love to give, and I love kids, and I don't think I would have any issue in both respecting the mother and their co-parenting relationship, but also taking a child who's not mine biologically and making it feel as though it is mine.
You tell me what you guys think, okay? Question to the audience. Question for the panel. I feel like women are way more likely to be with a dude that already has kids than a man is willing to be with a girl with kids. Example, I know plenty of girls here in Miami that are like stepmom to the dude with the kids. I was talking to a girl for a while. She had kids. And I was like, we'll see. One time, like, she like canceled on a date because the kid got sick. I'm like, I'm out. Like, this is so absurd. I'm now like, my life is now being run by Timmy over here who fucking has a cold. I'm like, this is something I'm not doing. And I'm like, I just jumped ship. Amazing girl, gorgeous girl. And like, despite all the accolades as a woman, I was like, yeah, I can't raise someone else's kids, or I can't have my schedule revolve around some other dude's kids. Just not for me. But how willing are you guys as women to raise another dude's kids? Is that something you'd be open to for the right guy?
I have dated a guy pretty seriously. He had 2 kids from a previous marriage. And I liked the fact that I got to see how he was as a father before, having kids with him. But it just kind of came down to the fact of I want my own kids one day as well. And having a blended family for, us as a couple, it was just something that wasn't in the cards. So it just ended up not working out. But I'm totally open to dating a man with kids, as long as he's open to having more kids in the future, because that's something that I want.
So there is a prerequisite. Like, I'm down to raise your kids, but I want my own. That's like the show we were on last week. It was the couple. They each had 2 kids. They kind of had a Brady Bunch thing going on. Totally okay with that. If you have your own kids as a dude and the girl has her own kids, that's a little bit easier, rather than like we did an episode on the PBD podcast. Yeah. This dude out here, Kyle Kalinske, shout out to you. I think you're very smart, no doubt. You know your stuff in politics. This guy is marrying a woman who is 5 to 10 years older and has 3 kids. I'm sorry I'm putting his business out there, but it's already out there. This is not a secret. Homie is going to go from 0 kids to 3 kids the second he says, I do.
Ooh,
That is very tough to do as a dude.
it's a lot of kids.
Very
Especially
tough
like
to do.
How old is
marriages
he?
and child support.
She's in her early 40s. He's in his early 30s. and he's going to be raising someone else's kids. Now, I will say, in case this thing gets chopped up and sent to him, they have a lot in common. They both work in politics. They're both liberals. They do like shows together. So like there is that component. Respect to you guys. Find love wherever you find it. But raising someone else's kids, and they're like 10, 12, and 15.
She should write a dating advice book on how the hell she pulled that off. There's a lot of girls that want to know.
Wow. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going off the deep end here. Would you ever date a dude that already has kids?
I don't want to say never, because I think for the right guy, most girls would probably, right?
Yeah.
It's really not my preference. I just think, I grew up with two parents in the home, all the same parents. I mean, obviously minus the ones that were adopted, but I just thought that was easier that way. So that would definitely be my preference.
So you're open to it?
I would say I'm not open to it. However, I'm not going to cap and say that if the right guy came along, I wouldn't make an exception.
You're not open to it. It's not ideal, but you're not closed off to it.
Yeah, like I'd probably make an exception for the right guy.
That's what girls do, by the way. They make exceptions for exceptional men. Nugget.
That was a good one.
Oh.
My reading ain't doing good today, but my talking's doing all right. Jamie.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever dated a dude with kids, and would you be willing to do it again?
Yes. I dated a man. He had a 2-year-old son, and that was awesome. My dad adopted me, and so my mom was a single mom, and she came out of an abusive relationship, and he took me in as his own, and they even got my birth certificate changed so I wouldn't know. He's like, this will be my kid. And I think growing up, that always meant a lot to me, like to adopt, because someone like took me in. But when I dated him, like I was there doing all the family stuff, talking with the baby mama, like having conversations.
Talking with the baby mama.
Yeah, there was times
Let's
where
not
like
underscore how difficult that is.
So
Did you ever have to deal with the baby mama?
Yeah, there was definitely overlap, and holidays, Christmas, and things. That's something to keep in mind too. I was
gonna say I would do the kid. I take another person's kid, like, and be a stepmom any day. Be a co-parent with a baby mama. That's a different story. Because that man ended up trying to like cheat on me with said baby mama.
No, he tried to get back with the baby mama.
I was like babysitting his child, putting him into bed, reading him stories, like while he was on a trip with his brother, and
that is the shadiest thing I've ever heard. Here you are dating a dude, okay? He has a kid, a 2-year-old. You're in the house rearing the child, taking care of the child. Lo and behold, low key, the dad is on some business trip vacation with his boys, meanwhile banging his ex-wife, baby mama, behind your back.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
That's low.
Yeah, it basically like sold me a dream, like we're gonna get married, have kids. He wanted somebody who was like nurturing and good with kids, so when he introduced me to his son, that was kind of like what made us a little bit more serious. His mother would buy me gifts because she was like, you're so good with his children. Thank you. We were worried based on who like the mom is. And they all painted this dream that this girl was kind of crazy and they needed that like stability. And I was like, I'll do that. And so while he was telling me one thing about her, he was like DMing her and trying to fuck. And
wow.
Yeah. But
words,
I would say that
words versus actions, like we were talking about, Heather.
Exactly.
That still wouldn't make me not do it again.
You would do it again despite that?
Because for me, it's like the kids thing. If he's a good man and he's doing that, like I'm not gonna make it like I'm not gonna get salty based on a past experience of a shitty dude.
So a dude, here's what I'm learning here, gentlemen. Go rent a kid. Go rent a kid. I'll tell you a story. Last week at the Soho House in Miami, my brother-in-law and my sister were saying, hey, can you watch Rory, my nephew? I was like, yeah, I'm at the Soho House. I'm at the beach. They're like, just take him with you. When I tell you, here I am at the beach, okay? And there's people around, and I start throwing the football with little Rory.
Game
over.
Game over.
Can I play? I'm like, Rory, just throw it over there by accident with those girls. Girls are like, oh, is that your son? He's so cute. I'm like, nephew, how you doing, right? She's like, oh, chick magnet.
Yeah.
What's a better chick magnet? A puppy or a kid?
A kid.
A kid.
Kid. Go rent a kid.
A
I'm starting a business.
There's like what she said about like.
Shout out to my nephew Rory if you're watching this. I love you, buddy.
Should
Every
he
weekend.
be watching this?
Yes.
He's like 4.
He's 10.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, keep doing you, kid. Okay, so I'm learning this. it is way more attractive for a man to have a kid and way more compelling for a woman to be like, yeah, I'd co-sign on that for a man to try to date like a woman with kids. Like I've seen like women, like I'll give you one quick story. Airport, I'm flying back wherever I was, I think from Madrid, and hot ass chick in the airport. I mean, just by herself, like buying a bagel. I'm like, oh, I think I'm a little hungry. Time to buy a bagel.
I got some cream
Boom.
cheese for you.
Next thing you know, I'm like in line. There I am, not being creepy at all. I'm just generally looking to buy a bagel. But I'm like scoping this chick, like who she with, who she traveling with, right? Next thing you know, the kid comes up, mommy. I'm like, I'm out. Who's this kid? Like, it's not a turn on. It is
plot twist. It was her nephew.
She's like, please have the nephew come over. But it is not a turn on for a dude to see a chick with kids.
But why?
But it is a turn off.
Why is it not a turn on?
Because
what is the
you're
problem?
not trying to raise some other dude's kids.
It's because historically, like, men had to ensure paternity. So they're biologically predispositioned to be repulsed by other people's children because they didn't want their resources to be passed to a kid that wasn't theirs. Where us, if a guy has a kid, that shows us that he could take care of us because other women selected him.
This is why we bring Pearl here.
Yeah.
She's giving you facts, not feelings, Jamie.
Oh,
I know she just hurt your feelings.
No, she didn't.
Oh, I just made that up.
You got a kid?
Could've.
Yeah, no, I think I can
wait,
see
you have
that
a- you have a kid?
overall. Do I have a kid? No.
Oh, you're,
I
just
mean, I
have
have
three
three
cats at
cats.
Respect.
But I think that while that may be true for majority of men, there are definitely men out there who have like an aspect of just wanting to be a dad, and I know a lot of men who they're like they have the same feeling of like they like the girl a lot, and they're like, you know what, let's do this and have a family together. So I think if you have a kid, you should be looking for men who also display those.
yeah,
behaviors.
but those are men that don't have options. The guys that can choose pick women without kids. The same way, like if we can
I'm gonna
choose,
tell you,
the same
my-
way,
my
that you
dad
guys,
was-
the same way that you guys can choose, you pick men that are rich.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
dad was a millionaire, owned one of the biggest construction companies in Boston, did the Big Dig, the Newberry Street Apartments, met my mom, crazy woman, and he must have loved her because she was crazy. And she had me, and they had 2 kids of their own. Like, I think he had all the options. He was a player, he was attractive, he had all of those, like, high-value characteristics, a family.
And I mean,
And he still chose to do
it
that.
happens. Sierra exists, right? But the exceptions don't make the rule. And like by and
But
large,
to ignore the exceptions is to ignore the
Right, but-
possibility for the people out there watching.
right?
in the
But that goes
audience.
back to selling women a dream. And you're gonna tell the average woman that this is what's gonna happen. That millionaire men are gonna check for her. That's just not gonna
but I'll
happen
tell
for the average
women
chick.
who do have children or single moms. Here are the characteristics you should look for in a man if you're looking for a partner.
Yeah, let me just weigh in on this. By the way, she hit the nail on the head because there's rules and exceptions. I get it. Because so for every general rule, you can be like, I know a guy, and one time I met a girl.
But to shut down any option of like the acceptance, calling it an exception instead of seeing that it's actually very common.
But here's where I was going with this because you used the exact word that I was going to use. She used the word options. Men with options, which we're going to get into. Men with options that can pick, let's get real here, the type of man that you would want to date, whoever that is. Like, think of the guy in your mind that you want to date. Just go there for a second. Whoever that is. Rich, successful, good looking, this, family oriented, has kids, whatever, maybe someone else's kids, whatever. That dude has options.
Yeah.
And the reason that you like him is because he's become that man that has options. Okay, so you're absolutely right. You have as a high value man, high status man, whatever, you have earned the right to have options, and you should explore those options. Now, you have the option to get with any girl you want, or you have the option to wife up the chick with 2 kids. That's your option. Most guys with options aren't going to do that, though. And that's kind of what you're saying
And
with
I
the
don't
rule and
think
the
most
exception.
of you would want like your brother or your son to marry a woman with kids over one that doesn't. Like if you have a 22-year-old brother,
Yeah.
he has 2 choices: a girl with 2 kids and a girl with no kids.
I think it really depends on the woman. Like,
No,
if
all things equal, just the kids.
just the kids,
Yeah.
I wouldn't give a fuck.
Well, first
I
of
would
all, my
trust my
brother's
brother.
broke as fuck, and I'd be like, you shouldn't even have a girlfriend. Right? So we gotta
Okay.
reevaluate.
Well-
But if he was making money and there were kids, and like I don't know, I want a big family, and me, my brother, and my sister are kind of creating that. Like we are our family unit, and so I would accept them, and I know he would love.
I mean,
them.
I didn't say accept. I said prefer. Like, why would you want him to sign up for more problems? He has to pay for those kids. He has to deal with the baby mother or the the baby father.
Why are we viewing children as problems?
Because that's how men view it.
Well, that's fucked up.
Headaches.
It's not.
Costs.
I think men who view that as a headache are headaches.
No. Your own kids are still a headache, and they are problems, but the net reality is they're worth it. Like, I ask all my friends this. I'm like, because I'm the single guy, the single crew, and doing Miami, they're like, bro, take me with you one of these days. Take me with you. Like, I'm like, what's up? You're married with kids. Don't you love your kids? Love my kids. So much work. You have no idea. So now you're taking that dude, and you're like, yeah, all those problems, those headaches that you choose to have, now it's not even your kids. Now it's like, oh God, just I'm out. And
But
that's
if
kind of
you-
what you're saying.
If you choose those kids, are they not then your kids?
To an extent,
to
because
an
you
extent.
have to consider when people they blend families together. You're not just blending the kids and like you're raising the kids. Like the kids come from a household that's raised from a different standard. Like I come from a blended family, so I understand like the relationships between my sisters that I grew up with versus the blended side of my siblings. It's very different. It's a different dynamic. We grew up kind of differently. We have the same parents essentially, but at the end of the day, like you're almost like fighting with another household dynamic when you have a blended family. And that in itself is the difficult part. I don't think kids are really like difficult. Like kids don't really know what they want. They're kind of everywhere. They're a mess. But we already know that. I think what you're arguing with is the actual significant other raising those kids. That is where the real headache comes in. And I feel like at the end of the day, if someone could avoid that part of a headache, you essentially would avoid it, but everybody's different. It depends what you're looking for. There's some men who don't want to have their own kids and they're okay having other people's kids. And they're out there, but ideally it's not really something like, I want a man with kids. Like,
But
it's
they're
not
unicorns. Men that prefer it are unicorns.
Unicorns, you were on the episode,
Yeah,
unicorns.
like,
Okay,
they
so
exist,
Men
but they're
don't
not
prefer
common.
raising
Yeah.
someone else's kids.
So
Let's leave
basically,
it
we're
right there.
looking for widowed men or women.
What's
If
that?
we want people with kids, we're looking for widows. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know. You
That's
you
what
don't
I
gotta
mean.
No, I
be
wouldn't
dead to
even
have
say
kids.
widowed. I would maybe say like I think it's very rare to find like people who have blended families and like you having a
kinda raise
relationship
them
with a baby
differently.
mama is like to me because a lot of the times when a man leaves a woman with that they had a kid with, the baby mama's kind of sour because
Oh, yeah.
she
And the
left her.
She
And
definitely
the
was
other
sour.
part that we don't really talk about is that men have no rights to the kids, like even if they've raised them for most of their life. So I have a co-host, his name's Sarah, and we host a show together on Tuesdays, and he raised someone else's kid for 10 years. And then she cheated and left, and he had no rights to this kid that
See,
he
that's
raised.
heartbreaking.
And,
That is
and, and that's
heartbreaking.
the risk that men are signing up for. And the other thing, like I always ask women, like, would you be okay with a stepfather disciplining your kid, even if you disagreed with it? A lot of times it's no, because that's not their kid.
I was
And so
just
it's
gonna say
like,
women will weaponize that and be like, "That's not your kid. That's my kid. It's gonna
Right.
go that way." And
so when it goes
is
back to your
difficult.
brother, why would you have him sign up for those potential problems when he could just say, you know what, no kids over there, that's just easier. And I honestly, I would say the same thing to my sister. Why would you pick a guy with kids when you could pick a guy with no kids?
Yeah.
Let me finalize this and we'll move on. There's things that are ideal, and then there's things that you'll deal with. Okay, ideally, you just meet a girl who's great, amazing. You have kids together. That's ideal. But you'll deal with the fact that you meet an amazing girl, and that you like her kids, and you'll help raise the kids. You'll deal with it, but it's not ideal. Let's leave it there. Next up, we're going to go through 3 topics here, okay? We have 3 overlying topics that the men at home are going to kind of rate your responses on, if you will. Money, dating and sex, and lifestyle and worldviews. I know we talked a lot about that with what type of person you would be with, and thank you for the candid responses. Let's start with money. Very simply, just give a number. Ideally, how much money should your man make a year, Heather?
8 figures.
8 figures.
Ideally.
Okay, so that's $10 million
Yeah.
minimum.
Ideally.
Okay,
sure.
ideally, gotcha.
I mean, ideally or realistically? You asked
Well,
ideally.
let's go realistically, since ideally is. So you want to date an
$10 million.
NBA?
You know what?
wanna-
Add a couple million on that.
Yeah, you want to date an NBA player, but like the best NBA player, because most NBA players make like $3 million. You want to date the quarterback for the Miami Dolphins?
No, I don't date athletes.
Or you want to date the CEO of Amazon? All right, so
The
athletes are out.
Athletes are out.
Okay, so athletes are out. So
Sorry,
all your
guys.
10 million just got cut in half.
Always, or is this a new?
I've dated athletes and it's just not my thing. So I've tried it and it's just personal preference. Nothing
Okay.
against you guys.
So
but not for
ideally,
me.
respect 10 million. Fucking shit. By the way, what percentage of men do you think make $10 million a year?
I'm sure it's a very small
Give
percentage.
me a number.
I'm not good with numbers.
You-
I don't know.
1 through 10. I mean, you.
1 through 10. I
Yeah,
mean,
1 through 100, like percentage.
it's probably like a tenth of a percentage.
0.00001%. All right, you got this thing, girl. Okay, that's ideally, realistically,
I mean,
what would you do with?
realistically, I
Yeah.
think 6 figures.
Okay,
is-
minimum.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Respect. So you just went from 100,000. You went from 10 million to 100 grand.
Okay, well, I'm just, you
Okay.
said ideally. Who doesn't want ideally the most amount? Come on.
Pearl, ideally / realistically, how much money should your man make a year?
I think ideally for me would be like 70, 80.
70?
70, 80.
Million?
That's ideal?
What the not
No.
million.
Oh, I was
70
like, girl,
million a year
That's
or lose my
crazy.
number, homie.
I don't know where, like, girls
Yeah.
on my show say this all the time, like 6 figures up. Like, I have never thought I was going to date a guy that made 6 figures.
Why?
I don't.
You make
Does
6
your dad
figures
make
now.
more than 6 figures?
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't you want to give your kids the life that you've had?
We grew up pretty frugal. Like, we made a lot of money, but we like.
You had a slide in your backyard.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I grew up
slide.
on fuel assistance and welfare. There's a very
Did the
big
slide
difference.
go into the pool or just onto grass?
In the pond.
Oh,
You're rich,
That is the sign of wealth right there. Because a slide just onto the grass,
Or like,
it's like grow
think
up.
about it. You do sports. You've been able to travel. There's a lot of things that your family like has been able to provide. 70K, like it's hard to send your kids even on an AAU team.
Yeah. Okay, so the question is, because are you getting that number because there's a study out there that says $70,000 is the baseline that creates
I just-
happiness, and anything above that is more materialism and consumerism. Is that where you're getting that
No,
number?
I got the number because it's a little more than what I used to make at my sales job.
Okay.
So it's just like that's what I used to make, like roughly 50K.
Okay.
So you said ideally, like honestly,
Right.
I was just thinking the same job that I used to have.
Interesting.
I mean, like I
so
did
what
good
would you
on-
say to
I-
someone who's saying, Pearl, you're crushing it right now. I assume you're making way more than 70,000.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to the people out there that it's like, come on, Pearl,
Yeah.
you're selling yourself short. Do better.
I mean, how do I
I
put
think
it?
you
Like,
are.
I mean, how do I put it? Like, sure, if that happened, like, great. I just don't think it's like that realistic. I mean, it's such a small percentage of guys that make that much money. Like, I think it would be unrealistic of me to think, oh, this guy has to make more money than me.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give you some numbers in a second as
Okay.
far as like what men make and what percentage of men make. But let's go down the line here, and then I'll give you some numbers. Ideally / realistically, how much do you want your man to make?
Ideally, we're on the same page, girlfriend.
10 million.
Ideally, I would like a successful entrepreneur who is making more money than me. We did discuss, because we were on the pregame, so tune into her podcast, what like my lowest would be, and I think I said 120 or 150.
Okay. So minimum baseline
minimum.
is 6-figure man. Minimum.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Emily?
Ideally, I love where my ladies' heads are at. Let's be a little delusional, you know? I'd say at least 10 million. You know what? Fuck it. Let's make it 50 mil a year, ideally.
So you
I want
guys are
2 slides.
comfortable. You guys are comfortable with being delusional.
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah.
not delusional. I've dated a guy whose house was 8 figures.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just,
Okay.
you know, I know it's
Yeah.
out there.
Okay.
It's
You're
out
not-
there.
you're-
It's out
Okay,
there.
how about
We
this? How
talk
about
to
this?
make money.
You're not delusional because you've done it before. Have you ever dated a guy who makes 10 million a year?
Oh, please. I've dated brokies.
Okay. So maybe you're delusional and she's not,
Yeah.
and you're embracing that.
I'll stay delusional, honey.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So realistically,
yes, realistically now.
I think on Pearl's podcast we did talk about this minimum for if it's a single family provider.
Yeah.
I would want my husband to be making 120, 150 around there.
Got it. Okay. So there's realistically, we're in the 6 figures, 70K category. Delusional status, I meet this guy making 8 figures, 10, 20 million bucks a year. Okay. Now, if that guy makes 10, 20 million dollars a year, let's go there for a second. how comfortable would you be if he cheated on you every once in a while? Not all the time, but once a year. Heather, I love you, baby, but I'm going on a business trip. By the way, I made $10 million this year. So you like your G-Wagon that you're driving.
I mean,
you like the mansion.
That's how it is.
So you're okay with that?
I agree. That is how it is. But
Ooh.
there's a payoff for everything.
So you are comfortable with it.
I'm not comfortable with it. It's not ideal if we're speaking idealistically. But
Once
I mean,
a year,
I
you'll
think
deal with it though.
if I'm driving a G-Wagon, I'd rather cry in a G-Wagon.
I
What's
love
the
that.
saying? I
She
would
gets
rather
it.
cry in a
Okay.
G-Wagon.
So once a year. What about 10 times a year? What about once a month?
I mean, it all depends on the situation.
He's now making $20 million a year. You have 2 G-Wagons.
If they're in my name,
One for you
if
and one
they're
for
in
your
my
assistant.
name, sure.
Wow.
Okay.
Guys, make your fucking money. You'll date Miss Montana, cheat on her as much as you want, but you got to make $10 to $20 million a year.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
need an allowance. I would be like, put money in stocks for me, like start a company for me, like little things on the side where I'm making money,
Okay.
and if you cheat on me,
Now flip it. The dude making 70 grand a year, or even
Fuck
100
no.
grand a year,
No.
Oh, you
that-
got
is he
left
allowed
out.
to cheat on you?
No, that guy will treat you better. So it's a
Who's
balance.
gonna treat you better?
The guy that makes less money. Because
So would you
it's
rather?
false.
Would you rather?
False.
Would you rather the guy that makes $120 a year but treats you great, doesn't cheat on you, respects you, or the guy that makes $10 million a year, probably treats you okay, but definitely cheats on you, but you're driving a G-Wagon?
Just 'cause he
Which would you pick?
doesn't cheat
I
on
mean,
you.
it depends on the guy. Ideally, I want somebody that I can have fun with. That's really important to me, that we get along, because I view marriage as, it's a 50-year-long conversation. So if you're somebody that I can have a good conversation with, that's what's most important to me. So if we can have fun together, have a good conversation, travel, and just have a good time, that's my priority. So it depends on the person.
Wow.
That was beautiful.
This is why men need to make money, because girls just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Fun costs money. Men need to make money because men want women, and women want fun,
But
Yeah.
men are
and fun
making
costs
less
money. And guys need to make money because men want women, and women want fun, and fun costs money, and that's just how it goes. We're gonna do a whiteboard episode on that, right,
Yes,
Nat?
yes.
Girls just want to have fun. You were saying, what were you saying about we were talking about how delusional you are.
Oh.
Continue. You're saying that the guy that
So if
makes
he's
10, 20
making
million,
10
he could do
million?
whatever he wants. Can he do any wrong? He
No.
could cheat on you? Anything?
No, he still has to be accountable to me. I'm
Why?
still
He's
his
giving
wife.
you an allowance and you're driving a G-Wagon. Why is he
Okay.
still accountable?
and
And he's getting this pussy.
I'm raising his children.
So he's getting that pussy? So what do you have, like a magical
is.
pussy that like has leprechauns forming out of it?
Listen,
Like,
I honestly
What?
do. You should hit up my
Sell
exes
them
and
a
ask.
dream.
Yeah.
I made a
This is what I say when I said women want to be sold a dream. You
Pearl,
want a rich
weigh
guy
in
that
on this,
doesn't
Pearl.
cheat on you? Oh, come on.
Yes.
At least she gets it. She knows what rich problems come with.
I think ideally no one wants anyone to
Let's
cheat
find
on
a
them.
unicorn.
But I think a lot of women would put up with it.
but this is like the cognitive dissonance that I think men have a problem with, right? So here you are, you got freaking Miss USA over here, Miss Montana.
Montana.
I mean, I think you should have won, but I think it was stolen from you. However, so on one hand, you want a guy that you can have fun with, that treats you right, but you also want a guy that makes $10 million a year ideally, and you're acknowledging the fact that if you're making 10 million bucks, yeah, I get it. You're gonna have, more money, more problems, but maybe that guy would treat you better, but he doesn't make enough money. Does it just come down to lifestyle? That like, are women? I guess, Pearl, my question to you is, are women realistic with the lifestyle that they really want versus what is the ideal lifestyle that they actually probably need? What are your thoughts?
Are they realistic with the lifestyle
Yeah,
that they
like
want?
these women are obsessed with, not this woman, but women are obsessed with the lifestyle. I've heard you talk about this before. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, women marry a lifestyle. Because who's the first one gone when he loses his job? Her. That's like one of the
Peace.
number one indicators that you're going to get divorced is if he loses his job. So that's why they say like women can't love in the same way that like men can love, because once you lose what you have, like a lot of times women leave.
This is such a good point out there.
But why-
Men fall in love, like ideally, like ideologically, like romantically, because there's no strings attached. I don't care, baby. Like, I don't care what you do. I don't care what you make. I don't care what your career is. I love you. Whereas women are like, I love you, but I also love your mansion, your house, your cars, even if you have kids or whatever.
And I think
ideal lifestyle.
And I think the older a woman gets, the harder it is for her to genuinely love. Like there are some girls that are ride or dies, right? There are, but I just have noticed they tend to be that way if they met their man young. And like the more trauma like a girl's gone through, I just think it's harder for her to really love a guy like that.
Gotcha. By the way, quick stat. How much does the average man in America make? If you know the answer, don't say it, because you probably, how much?
$33,000.
$33,000. Okay.
Oh, I was
Good
going to
guess.
say 46.
46. Heather?
I'd say like 50.
50. Do you know the answer? Hold on, before you give it. Natalia?
I would say hopefully like 50.
Average man, 50. Gotcha.
I think it's 45, but I feel like it went up in the last year or two
Yeah.
to 50 something.
You ready for this? The average man in America makes $38,000 a year.
Oh, look at you, James.
Okay.
Wow.
How much does the average woman in America make? Average woman. Emily.
Well,
Okay, go
I
ahead.
don't think that's a fair statistic because a lot of women are stay-at-home mothers and technically they don't make an income.
Well, it's still a statistic, whether it's
What
fair or not.
percentage?
Like,
There were
It's just-
statistics I
it's
looked up
different.
last night. There's only a 3% difference between women who are married if they have jobs or not. 3% difference.
all right. Well, stay-at-home moms are people. So you just made fun of stay-at-home moms. They
No,
got.
I'm saying
They
but
are
I'm
people too,
saying
Heather.
They
You're gonna be a
skew it.
stay-at-home
They
mom.
skew the data.
When you-
Cancel me.
when-
Go ahead.
When you marry that guy who makes 10 figures or 8 figures or whatever, you're gonna probably be a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Well, he's not going to care about your law degree at that point. He's like, law degree, small degree. I fucking run Amazon. You're taking care of the kids. Anyway, so I'll say this again. What do you think the average woman makes in America today? What number?
What was the men's
Average.
number?
The man's number is $38,000 a year. Average.
Okay.
Now, obviously, everyone here is above average and everyone's doing great, but this is how math works, you know.
Well, I would say women probably make it on average less, so I would say 30,000.
Okay, 30. Pearl, what's your number?
I would guess the same.
30.
I'm just going to do something different. I'm going to say 40.
Okay, so you're
Damn
saying
it.
more than men.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's female empowerment right there, ladies and gentlemen.
She took my 40. I'll just go with 38.
Just go 41 then. Okay. Nat,
I'd say 28.
28. Deli, throw a number your way. Just making sure you're awake.
32.
32. The average woman in America makes 25,000. That's
Yes, I was
13
gonna
less.
say this.
Oh,
Okay. Here we go. What percentage of men make 6 figures or more in America today? 6 figures or more. You can include stay-at-home moms in this weird figure right now. Let's start this way. What percentage of men make over 6 figures? Go
Men
ahead.
are people. Are we including stay-at-home moms?
No, we're just talking men.
Okay.
What percentage of men
mhm.
make $100,000 or more?
I'm going to say 30.
30%. Okay. Jamie?
Like 10%.
10%. Pearly Things?
I feel like it's 10%, but I'm going to say 8 to switch it up.
Ooh. Heather?
I'm going to say 7.
7?
Look at
Natalia
us.
Del Valle.
5.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. What number was Dan Marino?
Who's Dan Marino?
I don't know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Bad
Dan-
hint.
Greatest dollar.
Bad hint for a girl
7.
lineup.
Dan Marino was number 13. 13% of men make $100,000 or more.
Okay.
So that means 9 out of 10 guys almost are not making 6 figures.
13's
Okay.
higher than I thought it was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
I actually thought it was 15. So
Okay.
it's now 13. By the way, fun fact, what percentage of women make $100,000 or more?
I think.
Are you raising your hand
No,
or
I'm
giving
saying
it
5. I think 5.
You can speak as much as you want.
No,
bro.
I'm saying I think
She's
5.
going with 5.
Yeah.
You're taking the over under on
I'll
that.
keep 7.
7.
Oh, man. I don't know. Probably a smaller amount. I'm going to go with 11.
11.
12.76.
She's good. That's a pizza rating. Nat?
I'll stick with 5.
5. All right, so the answer is 6. You were very close.
see?
So just to be
okay.
clear, the average man in America makes $38,000 a year. The average woman makes $25,000. Okay? 13% of men make over $100,000 a year. 6% of women make $100,000 a year. When you hear these numbers, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Anything stick out to you?
I'm a badass.
So you're a badass. And why are you a badass?
6%.
Okay.
Well, I'm just thinking it's like, okay, 3 of them here want guys that make 6 figures. How many are actually going to get it? And that's why they say like 45% of women will be single and childless.
Amazing stat. Morgan
but
Stanley.
I do think that all of us here are in that small percentage of women, so that puts us at a higher status to get that higher status man as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think as I made more money, I started surrounding myself with men who made more money. So now the rooms that I'm in, like I'm not really in rooms where men are making 30 grand. Like those aren't even the men that I'm having conversations with.
This is such a perfect setup for you. I asked you the question, what type of lifestyle, what should women do with their life? Or what's the ideal situation? You said, well, men lead, women follow, right? And I said, well, what does that mean? What are you telling an 18-year-old girl to do? And you said, prioritize finding a man, right? You remember this conversation? And put yourself in situations where you can find that man and recognize what you want. So you gave the example of the girl who did the concessions or at the VIP at whatever basketball game. And you were like, tell that story.
Oh, I had box seats the other day. My dad's friend gave it to our family, so we went. And I didn't realize how expensive box seats are. They're it's you have to pay
crazy.
$100K for the year or something. I'm like, that is crazy. And so basically when we were there, everyone that's up there is worth millions of dollars. And there was a girl going by and doing the desserts at every place. And I was just thinking she was fumbling a bag because this girl was obese. And I was like, girl, if you were skinny and in shape and pretty, you could bag one of these guys. And so I was thinking that if you were going to go that route, you really wanted a rich guy to get one of those jobs.
By the way, such a powerful,
She was fumbling such an
anecdote right there.
opportunity.
If you're that rich dude, or if you're a bunch of dudes, and you're in the VIP, what is this, the club, this is wherever it is, and a baddie walks in and she's the convenience cart girl. Hey guys, time for dessert. If you're a successful guy, you're like,
I'm going to take you away
who's
from
this girl? Just quit your job right now. You just now got box seats. You're hanging with us. But if you're a fat girl, it's yeah, I'll take the fucking eclair. All right, keep it moving there, chunky. That's just the reality.
I think there are fat women who are confident and men like that.
Wrong.
Adam, do you want to hook
Wrong.
up with a girl that's confident or hot?
Well, obviously hot. And I will say this. I know plenty of guys that will bag a fatty for one night, like a chubby chaser. They'll take her down and be like, yeah, bro, I banged a BBW girl. Yeah, okay. They'll kind of discreetly talk about it, but they ain't taking her out in public, homie. They'll take her to a restaurant, dark, don't nobody know me. They'll do whatever. They're not.
It
they're
sounds
not
like you're
taking
talking
her,
about a bridge troll, though. There's a difference between a
that's-
bridge troll and a bigger woman who
But why do we do
handles
this? It's
herself
not like we
well.
tell short, broke men, be confident.
We do, absolutely.
No,
I
we
think
don't.
that
They call them
confidence is a huge
delusional. They
thing.
call him, I don't want no scrub, a scrub. That's a song. We don't tell them to be confident.
Well,
but for
Scrub
some-
is a
but
guy
for
that
some reason,
can't get no
but
love
for
from
some
me.
reason, fat chicks get special treatment. I don't get it.
I think it's also interesting that, I don't know, maybe 100, 150 years ago, fat people in general were considered the beauty standard. So bodies in our entire universe have been very
Where?
cyclical trends.
Give me
all
an
across
example
the world
of that.
when there
where
were
big girls were
Where?
all the rage.
So let's say 100 years ago where there
All
were
over the world, in the U.S.,
there
where?
were fief classes or serfdoms, and there were people who had money to spend
100
on
years
food.
ago? Do you mean 1,000 years ago?
Or 200? I don't know.
I
I'm
don't
not a
know.
mathematician like you, Adam.
I
No,
don't
they're
think
definitely,
that you can give me a tangible example of
The
where
other example that I
the
always-
bigger girls were getting all the love.
The other example I always get is some tribe in Africa.
Which tribe?
So I don't think it's real, but I've heard a lot about it on the show. That's always the exception.
Oh, I know
that
Wakanda.
Some,
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Yeah, Wakanda, that's where it's all happening. It's some fictional place.
it's okay, but again, it's funny that we started the show with selling dreams because that's what you're doing.
Well, I wasn't giving anyone
you're
special
saying
treatment.
you're saying that some guys like confident girls, but deep down that if a girl came in, she was 250, 300 pounds, you would not be scared of her stealing your man. You wouldn't be scared because deep down they're not checking for her.
I feel like I've dated men who prefer that, and I was kind of the exception to the rule.
Oh, why do we do this? Why do you know it's not true? It's like you're laughing. You're laughing because you know
My
deep
dad
down.
also, I'm just gonna out you, Benjamin. I'm so sorry. He is a chubby chaser. He prefers women, and my mother was heavier. His wife was heavier. That's just his type. So, like we were talking about exceptions earlier, there are exceptions to the rule.
Guys,
Why?
we
I
can't
have a
continue
question.
to do this.
And then why? Can I ask a question?
Yeah,
Then why don't you see the richest, most successful men with plus size women? If that's true, when men, that's their preference. It's not that they don't have options.
Yes, and this is exactly what I was saying. Is for anything out there, you're going to be able to throw out some random story, some exceptions. I get that we can't paint with a large brush and all that, but we're talking exceptions and rules. Anything you say, there's going to be, well, I know a rich guy that dates a big girl. I know a girl that will happily be with some broke dude. I know a guy that will take on 3 kids from a new chick, but these are very few and far between. So it's not reality. Let's be based in reality here. By the way, Heather needs to leave in the next 15 minutes, so I want to extract much as from Heather as possible. Heather, when you do land your man, what percentage of the bills are you going to take care of?
Well, I think it depends. So if I'm the stay-at-home wife, if we have kids, then he would be taking care of 100% of the bills.
Okay. So ideally, he's paying everything. Okay. And how much should your monthly allowance be?
Oh, that's a good
That
question.
is a good question. I mean, you have to take into consideration what it takes to stay fit and stay looking good to keep a guy that looks like that. So I mean,
so
hair
how much a
appointments.
month?
I don't have a number exactly.
Hair, nails, clothes, skin,
a gym
tan,
membership,
gym membership, baddie, looking good, fit, clothes,
savings.
What's your monthly allowance that the rich dude who's wifing you up would need to give you? There's a number in mind, right?
I don't have a number in mind, but
make up a number.
No, I don't know. I keep throwing out.
What's
10 grand a month? More or less?
Yeah,
10 grand a
sure,
month.
Perfect.
So you're gonna get 120 grand a year just to be hot and cool.
Yeah, and
I want to come back as Heather.
To raise kids, to raise the family.
All right. What's your monthly allowance, by the way?
I have a trust fund.
Yeah, no wonder you only wanted to do to make 70K because daddy's got it going on.
Look at no, but in all seriousness, I feel like with rent included, I usually spend like $5K or less a month.
Yes.
So.
Okay, so that should be your allowance to stay home.
Well, that would include like rent and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, no, if rent's taken care of, your car's taken care of, your bills are taken care of. This is just, I need to spend some money because it does cost a lot more money to be a woman than a man. What do I mean by that?
I should know
From
this.
a man, you need to pay. I'm not talking about rent, bills, insurance, like basic type stuff. I'm talking about like upkeep. Like today, I fucking got out of the shower, I threw some clothes on, I'm out. Boom. You had to do your hair, your makeup. You had to make sure that everything's good. Your mascara. By the way, you're killing it.
I mean,
lipstick.
in
It
that
costs a lot
sense-
more money to be a chick.
Right. But I mean, in that sense, if we're talking, the car's paid, rent's paid, all that, then I mean, 10 grand, that's a lot. I could spend 10 grand a month, but
Well, think
sure
about
you can.
that
if
much.
you're every year you invest
Okay.
in that. What if something goes wrong and you have a low allowance, you don't have as much savings, and then you're starting over from square one? I'd want like contingency where I'm like, every year it goes up. For every year I'm investing in you, you invest a little more in me. And that way, if we both...
It's called cost of living increase. And that's exactly what happens in Social Security. It's exactly what happens. We're familiar with inflation. Not a bad move.
Adam,
Shrewd move by Jamie.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
What would be reasonable to you?
Shit.
Because
question.
you probably tick a lot of those boxes.
Yeah,
right?
well, I've done this before.
Yeah,
Speaking
so
from experience.
Because I'd imagine if you say too high of a number, is that a red flag to a guy or no?
Of course it's too high of a number. Keep in mind, I'm not making $10 million a year, okay? I'm making well over 6 figures. When I was with a girl that lived with me for a while, I said, rent's paid, bills are paid, I'm taking care of food, groceries. Literally, you have no expenses. Here's a car. I hope you like a Lexus. Boom. You got nothing to do. And then she negotiated. She's like, because I didn't know at the time. I'm like, everything's free. Congratulations. And she goes, well, what about everything else? I was like, well, what do you mean? And this is where I learned about women. Hair, clothes, nails, makeup, manis, petties, spray tans, this, that, the other. And I go, how much do you want a month? She goes, $2,000. I go,
What?
That's
I
it?
go, all right, you got a deal. She could have got 5 out of me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's how you always
But I
start
gave
higher.
her-
And you
but I gave her
negotiate
two.
down.
Why I said 10, you
She
guys.
spent $2,000 a month on like
just that.
What?
My
Exactly.
hair alone
It's
costs
expensive.
like $500.
$2,000 covers
Yeah.
like beauty things. to the
$120 every
end.
2 weeks.
Oh my God.
Eyelashes is
But and there's gonna be
$150.
yeah. I now know how expensive. I said $2,000.
no, that's a
I
certain-
said how
no.
much is your hair? How much is hair as a girl? $500.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Especially
At
if they're
least.
blonde.
I
If you're
spent
into like
$25
blondes.
on a straight fade with homie Rodrigo.
If you have a
Shout out to
blonde, that
Rodrigo, the
number's
fade
going up.
king.
What?
Okay.
This is crazy.
This is what I'm saying. This is reality.
$2,000.
And by the way, the hotter and sexier a girl, the more you gotta pay.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Oh, you want some hussy from the streets?
Yeah.
Give her $50 a month, you're Gucci.
Yes.
You want a Miss USA contestant? She's asking for $10K a month.
You gotta
Okay.
shoot for the stars, and you
If
know.
not, you reach the
Or
ceiling.
no, what's the saying? Shoot for
Shout
the
out-
moon, and if you miss, you still
Land on the
end up
stars.
around
There
the
we
stars.
go.
Something like that.
That's what delusional women
Aim
say.
high, swing low. You know.
Okay.
But speaking of upkeep, I do have to go to my boxing class.
Yes.
So
Okay, last question for you, because I know you got to go. Then we're going to do a super chat, and then Natalia's going to take your seat. So I don't know if anyone's going to take Natalia's seat over there, but last question, and then we'll open up to the panels. You meet this dude. Amazing. He's the man. He's doing it. Not ideally, realistically, how much should he spend on your engagement ring?
Oh, that's a good question.
I've never thought about it.
isn't there like a statistic? It should be like a third of his paycheck or something. I saw
think
that
it's supposed
somewhere.
to be like a
Heather.
third of 2 or 3 months.
I think
something
that
like
whole
that.
industry is fucking.
This is where all the girls are like,
I
I think it should be
love
this, I
her.
think it should be this, I think it should be this.
I'm like,
But
give
just
me
give it-
cubic zirconia.
Without doing like, long division, just give me a number he should spend on an engagement ring. You know numbers.
No, I don't. Obviously.
Heather, how much
It's
should
very
he
clear that
spend?
none of us have thought about these numbers.
At least I don't know. Someone else go first. Why
Just
do
say
you
a number
know?
and then we'll go from there.
50K.
50K. Okay.
I
I don't even know what a 50K ring
That's
looks
a lot.
like.
I
By
mean,
the way-
my friend has a ring that's like 100K. So
God damn.
I'm
That one
shooting
friend that
low.
married that one dude. Okay,
They're-
down
they're-
the line here, how much should your man spend on an engagement ring?
I don't know. I've literally never thought about that question. 5?
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily put a number because it depends on what level of man that you're dating, how much they're making.
Yeah.
I would say don't embarrass me. Because there are some rings, like I've gotten a necklace from a guy. He's like, "Happy Valentine's Day," and I looked at it and I'm like, "Did you get this for $59 at Macy's?" Like I could tell
Save that
like
money.
where it was from and like the quality.
Oh,
but
wow.
for me personally, I don't even need a diamond because I lose
Just
shit all
don't
the time.
embarrass
I'm
me.
like, get me a really pretty ring that looks expensive that maybe not isn't breaking the bank.
Emily, how much?
I just want a pearl, honestly. That's all I want. So whoever a nice pearl is, that's what I'll take.
Well, just we got one right here. Just put it on your finger. Just put it right on your finger. Rock around with that for a little while. Nat, when you meet the man of your dreams, I know guys are sliding in that DM left and right these days. How much you want him to spend on the
I wanna
engagement
look
ring?
like a 50 grand ring.
I think. I mean, as you get married, you can upgrade your ring. But I would say
Let me just
starting.
preface this thing that I
But
might
I
get
would
a
say
better ring.
starting like 5,000 would be a good
Okay.
starting
Okay.
like minimum.
Let me tell you guys a story, and then I'm going to read some stats, okay? So the girl that was getting her allowance that we're talking about right there, it was time to get her a ring. We got engaged. We didn't end up getting married or whatever. And be very careful the type of women that you bring your girl around. I'll say that again.
Yeah.
Be very careful, gentlemen, of the type of women you bring your girl around. So here I am. I'm dating this young girl. She's 10 years younger than me. I think I was 33 at the time. She was 23. I'm bringing her around all my successful friends and their wives. And they're like, I've got this handbag. I've got this handbag. And these girls starts getting, speaking of delusions of grandeur. So let's say I'm making, at the time, $250,000 or $500,000 a year. Good money for a dude. But my boys are making millions, 10 millions. They're the biggest hotel nightlife guys in all of Miami. And these are the dinner tables, and these are the women that are surrounding my girl. So here's my girl who was broke as shit, just graduated college, 22, now she's 23, and she's like, yeah, well, like so-and-so has a $10,000 bag, so that's kind of what I want. And so-and-so has a $100,000 ring, so this is kind of where I'm at. I'm like, you were homeless and hungry when I met you, baby.
But that's
Now
also
this is what you
that's
want.
why it's so
Be
important.
very careful, gentlemen.
That's why it's so important to make sure you're choosing the right woman, because if it was the right woman for you and clearly it wasn't because you guys broke up, she
Yeah.
would have wanted to build your empire and work with you to make sure that she wasn't trying to make you go broke with materialistic
I
things.
agree with
I have a
you.
question.
Let me just do this, and then she's gotta go. I agree with you.
What?
But here's why I disagree
It's a
with
different
you.
level here.
Because no matter what that girl's mindset is, no matter how much you can train her or educate you, women are very impressionable. And if she's the one girl with a Kate Spade bag and all her friends have Louis Vuitton bags, she's gonna be like, oh, you're that bitch. Okay, got it. Yeah, you're the broke girl. And like, women are emotional, and then she's gonna come home and be like, why don't I have the Balenciaga bag or whatever? And I'm like, because they're child rapists, that's why. But you know, but these are the types of things that men need to understand when you're bringing your women. So now, when I meet a girl, I'm like, you ain't meeting any of my rich friends' wives. Like, you're meeting all my broke friends' wives. Okay?
Makes
You're
sense.
meeting I'm the richest one of my friends. All my friends are brokies. You're lucky you have a roof over your head. And that's how you get to the right mindset.
I feel like this is why a lot of guys are opting out of marriage today, is because they're like, okay, you want this expensive ass ring, and then I got to pay for this expensive ass
a lot of
wedding.
money.
Forget the milk that I already get for free.
Why buy the cow and you get the milk for free?
I did have a
Last
question,
point, because
though.
Heather has to go. By the way, just so we got this here, how much did you spend on your engagement ring? The average cost that a guy spends, $6,000.
Okay.
By the way,
Realistic.
how much does the average girl spend when she proposes to a man? What do you think?
Oh,
That
100?
happens.
Trick question. Girls don't do that
Yeah, I was
shit.
gonna say,
Guys don't
girls
spend that much.
propose?
Girls ain't spending nothing.
Yeah, I
Okay?
would never.
So just keep that in mind, ladies, that the man is the one that has to spend this type of money. By the way, what percentage of men spend over $10,000 on an engagement ring? What percentage of men spend over 10 grand? So by the way, when I bought a ring for my girl at the time, 25 grand I spent.
What?
I got it back. And then the economy hit. It was an issue. I think I got like 12 for it. Fucked up.
That is
But
fucked.
That
what
sucks.
percentage of men will spend over 10K? Go.
5.
5,
8.
8,
12.
12,
10.
10. Nat.
7.
Nat's the winner chicken dinner.
Yeah.
7% of men. So just ladies out there, gentlemen out there, we talk about idealistically and then realistically. Most men are not making 6 figures. Only 13% of them. Most men are not spending more than 10 grand to buy an engagement ring. Only 7%. Most men make 38K a year. Guys, if you want hotter, better, classier, doper women, you got to make more money because they got demands. With that being said, this beautiful girl has to leave right now. Heather, clap it up for Heather, ladies and gentlemen, right there. Okay?
Thank
You want to
you.
just exit stage
With the
left? How do we do
beautiful
this?
smile.
Okay.
Do it. You have to
So
go
we're
like
gonna go
this.
this way. By the way, for the women that are watching, Heather, real quick, teach us how a woman or a pageant woman should wave.
Okay,
Yes.
so we
Yeah.
have to stand up straight.
All right, here we go. Everyone do this.
Everybody?
Everyone do this.
in wife school.
Left arm up.
Left arm.
Cup the hand. Elbow.
Cuck?
Cup.
Oh. I'm like, I'm out. I'm not cucking. All right, cup. All right, cool.
Elbow, wrist, elbow, wrist. Elbow, wrist.
Am I
We
doing
even got
it right?
Jorge doing it.
like
Hey, we're all doing the wave right now. Well,
I love
Alright.
it.
can we hug? I don't know
Yes.
if this works. Okay.
I have to pee.
No problem.
I know.
Heather, you're
Thanks,
welcome back
ladies.
anytime.
And all of her links are in the description below.
Make sure
so.
that you follow Heather on all social media. Where you going there, girl? Oh, this girl.
I know I have to go too, but I'll wait.
Holy
I'm gonna
shit.
hold
I
it.
tell these girls to use the
Wait, can
bathroom
we go
every
back
time.
to the?
We did.
What do you spend $2 grand a month on? I'm still stuck on this. To maintain what?
Do you want me to list it
By
off?
the way, go if you need to use the restroom, go now because Natalia's going to
Okay.
read the super chats when
Yes.
everyone's
Oh,
back.
okay.
We'll reconvene. By the way, if you guys are home right now, now's not a bad time to take a quick bathroom break, pour yourself a cocktail, or go find yourself a woman that doesn't expect a $50,000 engagement. Nat, go ahead. By the way,
Alrighty.
just look at the one girl that's still on stage. My homegirl,
Hey.
Pearl Davis. She don't need no bathroom breaks.
Alrighty, so I'll get with the chats. Thank you all for the super chats. We appreciate each and every one of you. So we'll start off with Sebastian. He said, Adam, we all know the real reason why the show is late. Chris. We have Beaten
Chris?
Cheeks. Chris? I'm not sure. It says L. Chris. Not sure. You
I
picked
don't
that. Then we have Beaten Cheeks. Thank you for the $50. Nat, don't mess this up. Nobody, wife, and OnlyFans. Girls, Pearl, would you give a young girl's advice to do what those other two are doing, asking for a friend? Isaiah.
Haram.
Isaiah Playa A. Betting that Pearl will be engaged by the end of the year. MMGF equals make money, make muscle, learn game, and hold frame, guys. Then we have Zoro's Lost 11. Just want to say we appreciate you. I see you every Soscast, so we appreciate you. And he said, if you knew that a status demo of person in the West is 42-year-old woman making $50K a year, no kids, family, what different life choices would you make? Then we have JC Torres. Pearl, I love what you're doing. Keep up. Much love, success. You know you're my favorite white girl, JC Torres. Then we have On the Grind 44. On the Grind 44. Love the show. Natalia Fire. Do you have any dating advice for a guy who's 5'7" with some money and mid-30s? Keep grinding, stay focused, and have good values and treat women.
And work out.
Of course, work
Because
out.
if you're shorter, just get wider.
There you go. That's the vices
how it
for the height.
Half my
then
friends
we
are
have
6 foot plus. Yeah, that's true.
Then we have another one from Zoro's Lost. Men sell a dream to get sex. We got what we really wanted. It's your job to retain us after. Man want quantity, women want quality. Men can date down. Zoro, I'm getting the way you text, okay? Zebra Pelko. So our choices are 2 mid P-stars and the prettiest girl from Walmart or Pearl. I vote for Natalia. Oh, thanks. Tony Franchise. He said, I seashell fisherman search for Pearl. Okay. We got another one from Beaten Cheeks. Oh my gosh, I can't take those only fans.
Shout out
Seriously.
to Beaten Cheeks.
Beaten Cheeks. Miss Montana, Nat, educate these women to leave the purge on their internet. Only fans before getting serious with a man. The internet does not exist. XOXO. Then we have Jay Valdez. That's the gentleman who made that quote of Happy King, Happy Kingdom. He said, "That's right, bro. Happy King, Happy Kingdom. The man leads the woman. The man leads the women / family. Don't be a simp. Good show." Then we have another one from Beaten Cheeks, just $10. We appreciate you, Beaten Cheeks. Then we have Heather, another one from him as well. He's just going in. Heather, I look like a $10 million guy, but I'm a 6-figure guy. Let's get real. Then we have Mike Dust. Wow, these females are using emotions while Pearl is using logic and embarrassing some of the ladies. Then we have Zentinence. He said 10 million a year. She said athletes are out because she's been with them and are harder. Dammer Hamill on the field tackle, subsequent collapse. She wants an elite level man but offers emotional damage, impurity, and being liable. Then we have another one from Beaten Cheeks. Jesus Christ, delusional test. I drive a G63 and not a $10 million guy, let alone $1 million man. Would you accept a date with me? I'm 5'8", successful, disease-free, and not fat. Okay. Then we have Zentinence again.
Disease-free.
That's really important.
You have
Just
to say that
lead
today.
with, hey, I'm disease-free. And just start with that. All right, now you've got my attention.
Right. Then we have another one from Zentinence. He said, pink hair, 1 and 2, red hair, 1 and 2. You guys are delusional. They want to want a traditional man, but aren't traditional. It's all about what they want, but rather to fail, realize the questions they need to ask is what to do with the men they want from them. Then we have Waldemar Perez Jr., SMV World Map. Check it out. Last few we have is Eric Haynes. The actual average income for a man is $50,391, and for women it's $36,726. Last two we have Chamo Yahoo. UPS drivers make $100K. Get your packages now. And then the last one, JC. But what about the pay gap? And that is the last one. Oh, last one from Beaten Cheeks again. Pearl and Heather are found in speakeasies, and the others are found in spankeasies.
Oh.
And
that's a good
then, all right, let me finish these quick. The Naughty Bear, Pearl, Bear By. I support the content, just not the singing. No more Scrubs verses, please, Bear. please. And yes,
See, I like that.
very nice likes, bro. We have from King, give the girl a rock and a meal at McDonald's. The Clue channel, Pearl, congratulations, you just hit 1 million subs. Last one from Chris, only Pearl and Nat will find a husband. The rest of y'all are delusional for the streets. I invest in Chewy because these hoes are future cat ladies. I mean, we love the cats too.
Okay, Nat.
So that'll be the chats for now, and I'll
we're
be
gonna
reading the
go.
rest.
We're gonna go rapid fire. Nat, you're gonna come here, right?
Yes, I'm gonna come.
Okay.
I just want to get to the rest of this.
Okay, let's go over here. All right, real quick. We're gonna go rapid fire. If I cut you off at any point, it's just because I want to get some topics in because we've got about 45 minutes left, and then we're done. By the way, ladies, you're 26. Nat is still somehow 21 5 years later. Nat,
What?
welcome to the show, Nat.
Thank you.
Welcome, Deli over there. Jamie, you're 27.
I'm 28.
28. Emily,
How old do I look?
14.
I actually get that a lot.
Yeah, you look young, but you're probably
24.
20. You're 24. So you're the baby of the bunch. Nat still hasn't revealed her age.
21.
By the way, welcome to the show,
Thank
Nat.
you.
Look
Thank
at that.
You, everyone.
Clap it up for
Excited to
Nat
be
being in the big
here.
girl
Yay,
seat.
everyone.
Big shoes to fill, Heather. Okay, starting with Pearl. What age would you like to be married, and what age would you like your first kid?
That's a good question. I wish I was married actually, but I'd like to do that sooner rather than later.
So, by
So-
what age?
First kid, like 28, 29.
Okay, so in the next 2-3 years, you like to get married and have your first kid.
Yeah.
Facts. Okay, Natalia.
Yes. What age would I
What
like
age would you like to get married? What age would you like to have your first kid?
I would like to get married in the next 3 years.
Okay.
And then after getting married, I would like to have my first kid after the first year of being married.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jamie, what age would you like to be married by?
Well, you know, my biological clock is ticking.
Marissa Tomei.
So sooner rather than later. And I think like a year to 2 years after we're married. Because I
Yeah.
would love to have a year of like fun and traveling with my husband before kids are involved and
Okay. So
we
give me
go
an
full
age
in that.
that you want to get married and have your first kid.
we're like 32.
Okay. So in the next 4 years, and then the kid a year or two after that. So you're having your first kid at 30.
Oh, I was thinking
34.
32, 33 for a kid. So I guess we got to get married soon.
Let's go. Accepting applications on Two Girls One Blunt podcast.
Yeah.
Emily, who looks fantastic, by the way.
Thank you.
What age would you like to be married and have your first kid?
I'd say I'd like to be married in the next 5 years or so. So like 29, around
Okay.
there.
So-
I'm just giving myself a little leeway.
So what I'm hearing from all you ladies is ideally you'd like to be married with kids, give or take, by age 30.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ideally, I would have already been married.
Okay. All right. Next question. Thank you for being candid, by the way. How necessary is a man in your life by the age 30? By age 30, how necessary is a man in your life? Let's do a 1 through 10 scale. 10 being like, yo, if I don't have a man by age 30, like I got to figure this thing out. 1 being like, I don't give a shit, I'm fine. How necessary is a man in your life by age 30, Pearl?
8.
8. Okay. Why isn't it a 10?
Well, because I feel like 35 would be like a 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I'm thinking like, all right, if I was 30, like I feel like there has to be worse, which would be 35 or 40. You know, so you have to. So
Okay.
yeah. Maybe
Nat?
7. You know, I'll do 7, 8, 35, 9, 40, 10, 50.
That's just
That's
math
late.
right there, ladies.
That is late.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you gotta like, because in my head,
10,
I'm like, you have
50.
to have one
50,
that's
you're
worse.
done.
Yeah,
You have to
you're
have one
right.
that's worse. I know.
Okay.
So that's why
That's
10
real
is. I know
worse.
10's
So-
the worst.
You said 8 by
I'm trying
30,
to average out the scale.
9 by 35,
Yeah.
and then 10 by 40.
Yeah.
I think that's what you meant,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Nat, how necessary is a man in your life by age 30?
By age 30,
Yeah.
I would say 8 as well.
Okay.
8 as well.
Now by age 35?
I would say 10.
Okay.
I would
and
like
now
my
by
man
age
by 10.
40?
I reached 10. By 40, I'm like, I gotta
Okay.
figure something out.
This is acceptance.
The wonderful Jamie?
Bye, dog.
By age 30, how necessary is a man in your life? 1 through 10.
What do you mean by necessary?
Like,
Like to have children?
how about this? By age 40, how necessary is a man in your life?
I'm going to say 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Emily, by age 30, how necessary is a man in your life? Keep in mind you're only 24.
Yes, I'm a baby. I would say like a 10. I don't want to be like my parents and have my kids at age 40.
Okay. So newsflash, gentlemen out there, women have this age 30 barometer where it's like the biological clock is ticking. That does not exist for men. Like I encourage men wholeheartedly, bruh, hold out until you're at least 30. Hold out. Work on yourself, work on your passion, work on your business, keep improving, keep striving, and then you'll be very much high in demand, low in supply by the time you're 35 as an example. Okay. Shifting gears here. What do you think of a single 40-year-old man who has his quote-unquote shit together?
What's his number?
Call me.
Call me. Just whatever you define as shit together. His shit is together. Financially, sexually, romantically, socially, lifestyle. His shit is together.
What's his phone number?
Boom. Gotcha. It starts with 305. That's my go ahead. What do you think of that type of man? 40-year-old man who has his shit together, single. No
Sometimes
kids.
I wonder when a man is 40. Like, I think a lot of girls in our conversation, when we see like an older dude hanging out with a bunch of us and they're 40 and we're like, what's wrong with them? Like, at that
so
point,
what's
I
wrong
think
with me?
something's wrong with you.
As a 40-year-old man, what's wrong with me?
Failed relationships, maybe inability to love and actually commit, and you're in Miami and you have a Playboy lifestyle.
Spot on. I don't need to go see that psychiatrist anymore.
At least you're accountable about it, though.
So, you know, for me as a woman, I'm going to see that and I'm like, he's not ready to settle. It comes off as not ready to settle. And I feel like you may be doing that for a while. Like, so then it wouldn't be an option.
I'll give you a little twist. Maybe that guy is the most ready to settle. Maybe. Because he's been around the block. He's driven all the cars. He's made all the money. He's
Are we
partied.
talking about exceptions, Adam?
Ooh!
Well, exceptions are made for
Well, listen, I'm
exceptional men.
delusional, so I like
Exceptions are made for exceptional men. Okay. So for the most
So
part,
that
we
works,
have
yeah.
that 40-year-old guy with his shit
Then he's
together.
top of the
Actually,
Call
I
me.
have a question. Would you
Yeah.
prefer a 40-year-old guy that's been like both have no kids, but one's been divorced? Which would you pick?
Interesting question.
Wait, say that again.
Because to me, if he's been divorced, that means he's like more willing to commit than the guy that's not.
Ah.
Yeah.
But I'm
Okay.
curious if you guys have the same thought process.
It would be why were they divorced? So, like, it
Well,
really depends.
why? Because it didn't work out. Let's just, hello.
Yeah, but did
But
it not
would
work
you
out
pref-
because of him? Like,
I
is he
love
the
this-
problem? Or
I
the
love
guy?
this question from Pearl.
But yeah,
This is
no,
why she
I
makes the
like,
big bucks.
I think a divorced man's fine.
No,
Yeah.
which one would you prefer?
Yeah, prefer.
You pick one. And it was semi-mutual. like
Never
nothing-
been
nothing
married
bad.
at 40 or divorced at 40? Who would you prefer?
Prefer?
That is a
maybe
great question.
maybe divorced because I have that experience.
So you want someone who's failed in their marriage rather than someone
No,
who
I don't
hasn't
think
gotten
so.
married?
I think I would pick somebody who's not been divorced if I could pick.
Yeah, I think
I would-
that's
I
fair
would
to
pick-
say,
I would
Like,
right?
you're talking about the
Someone
40,
who's
like
not.
a 40-year-old man. If I'm going after 40-year-old men, I kind of have an expectation that they may be divorced.
Well, because I just kind of gauge.
Or been engaged.
I
Or been
kinda-
engaged,
I
yeah.
kind of gauge because I feel like when you're getting to know a guy, you kind of are gauging how willing he is to commit.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like if I hear he's been divorced, I'm like, oh, he's more likely to do that again, unless there's
Okay.
like a brutal divorce or something.
Like
That's
a
true,
serial
yeah.
divorcee?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Serial divorcer.
sometimes when people come like divorced, they come with certain baggage, and that also affects how they commit to you. So that's also something to consider because like I've dated somebody who has been divorced, and that affected like certain ways that we dated and certain things that he did. So I would rather have someone who's possibly not been divorced so that we can experience like first time things together. That would be kind of my
I
thought
think
process.
all women want to be the chosen one.
Right,
Like,
right. But it's not shocking if a man is divorced. Like if I meet a guy who's 40 and he's single but he has kids, to me I'm like, all right, at least a woman wanted to have kids with you, you know? So like
That's true.
there's pros and cons to it, but if you ask me, do I pick? I'm like, I'd rather you not be divorced and like we
Okay.
do it together.
Next question. We just talked about the ideal age. You want to get married, kids, right? The guys are listening, the girls are answering. This is great. We just talked about a 40-year-old man who has his shit together. For the most part, it was call me. I respect that, Pearl. Now, flipping it on you, what do you think of the 40-year-old woman who
Call
is
me.
single, has her shit together?
Do you want to be my sugar
What do you
mommy?
think about that woman? And what would you think if you were in that position? Pearl, you go first.
I mean, she's done. It's over. I mean, what can you really offer to a guy after 40? Men get married because they want to have kids. At that point, like, you should just try to find a guy for companionship and maybe take marriage off the table, because why on earth would he marry you at 40? What can you offer?
Okay. What are your thoughts, Jamie? Woman who's 40, single, and has her shit together.
I
What would you
know.
say?
I
Would
think
you
that a
want
lot of
that?
women are like can be happy with that. Would I want that? No, not. I wouldn't want that personally. But if
Okay.
that were me, like I'm gonna make the best.
I
of
like
it,
how you
and
said.
I would adopt.
I like how you said can be happy instead of are happy,
Yeah, I would say because there's
because it's the exception.
some that aren't. There's some people who are single. They did
exception.
the boss babe thing. They're
Yeah.
40 years old, and then they're like, I want to get married and have kids somehow. And they're like, you have to be realistic with that for sure.
Young Emily,
Yes.
how would you feel? Let's personalize this. 16 years from now,
Oh God.
you're 40, single, no man, no kids, but you have your shit together. You know, money, social, podcast, all that. How would you feel about that?
I think I would be proud of myself first and foremost that I do have my shit together regardless of whether or not I have a relationship or children. I think part of me would be very upset that I don't have those things, but I would make the best of it.
Gotcha.
Wait,
Pearl,
I-
how
can I-
delusional is Emily?
Oh, she's super delusional. I mean, I just think, yeah.
What makes her delusional? Because she's a sweet girl, but what makes
She's
her...
very sweet, but it's
Oh, you don't know me.
it's unfortunate
choked up.
because I mean you have a lot of things going for you, but because you're on OnlyFans, like you're going to be ruled out for most of the guys you want, and I'd say
Interesting.
that in itself is delusional.
Okay.
It's unfortunate because without it, like you probably would be a contender for a lot of the guys you want.
I have a question. Do you think somebody who maybe they did do OnlyFans, maybe they were in a position in their life where that was their choice, do you think a woman who has done OnlyFans can be turned, and I know the comments are going to go crazy, but do you think that it's possible for those women to turn into like committed wives? Here's my argument. Saint Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, okay? And she ended up a saint. So would you say that people do have the ability to make that decision and commit to it, even if they do have more of a promiscuous past?
I mean, unicorns exist, but
Okay.
there's still unicorns. I actually asked my dad this question. I had a boyfriend that my dad wasn't the biggest fan of, and I was like, Dad, do guys change? Like, do people change?
Yeah.
And he looked at me, and said, yes. They get worse over time.
Not what you expected.
And he said, any negative trait you see now will probably be worse in 10 years, so choose carefully.
That is true.
I broke up with him.
She said that. He said no.
And so, can it happen? Sure, but like,
Yeah.
internal change is hard work. Like, it's if you really actually changed something about yourself, it's hard. You can't run from yourself.
Yes.
So, are there unicorns? Yeah, but are most guys gonna stick around to find out? Probably not.
But if they were like a retired OnlyFans person, and they were like, I don't want to.
I would say better odds.
Okay.
I would say you have better odds if you pick someone, but is it probable?
Right. I understand.
know.
Yeah.
And by the way, just to be clear, so for our people in the audience, unicorns actually don't exist.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought it was just a horse.
No, that's just a horse with a cone on its head.
Look at it was an expression. An
That's
expression.
sort of-
See it.
just wearing like a birthday hat. Okay. Well, since you brought it up, Pearl, what would you say to one of your brothers? You've got multiple brothers, or even a guy best friend
5.
who was gonna marry an OnlyFans girl or some sort of sex worker, whether it's stripper.
Is she
or
retired or is she con?
She's currently and or
Okay.
may retire when she gets married. What would you say to your brother?
That and or may though.
And I try not to be disrespectful because you guys are here, but it's
Oh, be disrespectful.
Sorry.
Yeah, totally fine. Say how you feel.
But it's just like I mean I would say run. I mean that's it's what are your future kids gonna think? And like and that shows that she's putting herself before you, because like you want to have a family someday, you want to have a kid someday, and you don't care because you put your body on the internet and you know they're gonna see that. That's the type of girl you're picking, someone that puts herself first. And I want, like, for my brother, I want someone that puts the family before themselves.
Follow up, and then I want to get your guys' perspective. So we interviewed a few months ago Allie Ray. Allie Ray, it was a former nurse. She was a nurse, ICU nurse during
Oh, yeah.
COVID,
Yes.
who started doing OnlyFans. She went from making $80K a year to $80K a month. She's married with kids. I've met her husband and her kids
Yeah.
on the podcast. Does sex with her husband on camera. what would you say to that girl who has now become officially a millionaire when she was like just an average person?
With her
What would you,
husband.
she does OnlyFans with her husband. What would you say to that?
Haram. I mean, again, I just think it's a degeneracy. And I just think
Google haram real quick. I'd like to see the
just needs
exact
its, like,
definition of
that
haram.
was a good response.
I mean, I just think it's degeneracy. Like, again, it's like,
Forbidden.
who cares how much money you have? You can't buy class, and your whole family like is going to be
That
looked at a
is-
certain way, and that's the legacy you're leaving behind.
But
And
if
if
her
you-
husband is okay with it,
she
you
married
say-
a
you
beta.
say-
She married a beta because no alpha guy would let his bitch do that.
wow.
No, sorry.
Interesting.
No.
Okay.
Are you gonna let your girl go on OnlyFans with you?
No, because
Yeah.
I make enough money that I don't need you to be hoeing it up. But I'll rock around with an
Look,
OnlyFans
if you
girl
were-
for a
if you-
couple months.
if you were-
Shout out to
if you
girls I know
were-
that I'm talking
If
about.
you were broke, if you were making 45, at one point you're probably making average salary, right?
Yeah.
At that point, if you're dating a girl seriously for marriage, would you do OnlyFans with her?
Well, here's the deal. When you're broke, you're desperate. When you're desperate, you're stupid. So guys who are broke, they got no money. They are desperate. And when you're desperate, you'll do stupid things.
I mean,
and you'll get involved in things that maybe you wouldn't co-sign on when you had money. Money, not only is money a tool and a medium for exchange, money
motivator.
allows you to think bigger picture. It provides clarity and allows you to do things that you wouldn't necessarily do if you're living paycheck to paycheck. Some of the beauty of money is not only, being able to live the lifestyle you want, buy what you want, but enables you to make better decisions and not being like the whims of emotions. Like I have a buddy of mine who is paycheck to paycheck, broke as fuck, and someone wanted to hire him and they say, hey, they're paying $15 an hour. He's like, no way, I would never work for that. I go, okay, don't do it. He goes, fuck it, I need the money, I'll do it. And like that's what money does for you. It gives you better options. Anyway, you were gonna say about haram.
Well, I mean, I understand that some people use sex as a tool to get to places, but I think your character is tested when you have no money. And a lot of people will say that's hypocritical because I grew up with money, and a lot of people will say I don't understand, and fair point. But it's like my dad was broke, and my dad, he's just a hard worker. So I don't know. I just look up to men like my dad, and I know it doesn't matter how broke we were. Like he would never do that.
Okay.
But do you think that also comes from your family being like frugal, like you said? Because I also grew up in a family home where like, things were very well set. But I didn't grow up where they were like throwing me like 6 bands a month. So like for me, I hold value in like people going through that struggle, and like even though you're raised in a home where you have the resources, they're not just given to you. You know what I mean?
So what's the question?
I forgot my question.
Yeah, you're done asking questions.
Sorry.
Watch the chat. What would you say to your brothers? You have a brother. What would you also say? Let's say it's a brother, best friend, whatever, who was gonna wife up an OnlyFans girl. What would you say to him?
I feel like my brother is the type.
Okay.
There are some men who don't. There's a lot of men who don't want to work hard. There are men who want to be stay-at-home dads, and they're like, my girl's making money, I'll easily do that. Majority of our friends who are in the adult space are in relationships or are married.
Okay, but this
Actually,
comes
it's
back
like-
to. This comes
Actually,
back to
can I
respect.
change one answer?
Yeah.
There's one of my brothers. I might say let it slide.
Do you know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know what? You
He
get
might
your
need the- he
bag.
might
You
need
get
the money.
taken
Okay.
care of.
But hear me
I'm
out.
just kidding, I'm
Hear me
just
out.
kidding.
So you're basically saying
They're gonna
for
kill
a
me.
certain type of guy, because maybe they don't have ambition, drive, work hard enough, that they're okay being kept by a woman, specifically a sex worker, OnlyFans girl.
Yeah.
So those types of men are okay. So here's my question to you. How long does that relationship last? If the girl's making well over 6 figures and homie's staying at home, my gut is telling me that homie, unless he's got a 12 fucking inch cock, that guy's getting left in the dustbin of history.
12
But
inches.
even
Yeah,
that,
I'm just saying.
Even
It
that.
Even then,
It depends
even
on
then,
how they-
sorry,
turn
Long Don
off.
Silver,
Yeah.
even you are getting cut off.
Yeah.
So my question is, even then, your brother's gonna have to make something for himself.
Yeah.
Because that dude who's getting taken care of by a rich OnlyFans girl, he's about to see you next Tuesday, and he's gonna be out the door in no time anyway, so he's gonna have to get a job anyway.
Yeah.
Unless he's just totally comfortable with being a kept man. Puss ass dude.
Yeah.
I'm talking about your brother right now.
We love you, David.
Got nothing to say. Love you, buddy. No,
But-
he's a good
so,
kid.
Okay, so forget about your loser brother. No offense. What would you say to your best guy friend who actually has something going on in his life, who's gonna wife up an OnlyFans girl? Do you want to take this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I would ask him to consider, like I would with any woman, what she stands for, what her morals are, what her intentions are with him, and really ask him, like you said, you don't want to waste anybody's time. You have to ask the important questions that you need to ask in a relationship. Does she want kids if that's what you want? Does she have the same values as him? You should really be delving into who she is as a person and how it relates to him.
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate that. So I guess my question is this. For that guy, should he be willing to look past his girl getting naked on camera for other men? Should he do that? Why should he do that?
If it's the right girl.
I don't like this narrative. There's one right girl for you.
But I also don't like the narrative that
there.
there's no value in women who do OnlyFans and they lose
Never
it for
said
doing
that.
it.
I
Never
never
said
said no
that.
I don't
value.
think there's
I
that.
think it's needed in society, actually.
But in
I
terms
just-
of
I'm
a
just-
relationship, like I feel like that's where you guys are getting at.
what value would you bring to a guy by like showing your boobs on camera?
But why do you act like the only value is what they do online?
It's not
Like
the
you're
only.
completely dismissing like who somebody is as a person. Same
Yeah.
things Emily said.
I'll tell you
I
why.
cook, I clean,
I'll tell
I
you-
suck good dick.
But why would- why-
listen? I take accountability. Like there's a lot of things you can value, and I make money by showing my tits online.
You guys said yourself on my show that it causes you guys trauma. So why would I tell him to pick a girl that has more trauma?
we said that
We said that it was an interesting take that you brought up the fact that it might cause trauma.
yeah, we
And
can
said that
see,
it's
and we
something
said
to
in
think
the
about.
industry that it does cause trauma for some people, but for us, we've outweighed the pros and cons, and
No, you said that some like when you do certain things, it causes trauma.
I think I said I crossed my own boundaries and decided after a while I was like, okay, that's not where I want to go. But that's just me just being honest with myself and
You know
being
what?
like, you know what, let me take a step back.
By the way, here's my message to you guys. I'm friends with you guys. I'm cool with you guys. I'll party with you guys. I'm friends with OnlyFans girls. I've hooked up with OnlyFans girls. I've got no problem with sex workers. I've partied with strippers. I've done the whole thing. All that. Love you. You guys are much needed in society. You guys quench men's thirst.
I'd
That
say they
needs to
save
be.
lives,
That needs
honestly.
to be.
Yeah.
That you are a major, major benefit for society. There's one caveat. Most men should not be marrying these types of girls. There are exceptions.
But why?
But most men, because I'll tell you why. Men are territorial. They don't want some dude. They don't want, like, if my girl was naked, if my girl was the hottest stripper in the club, the hottest, but she was giving lap dances to everyone, there's like a side of a man that's like, yeah, I'm not good with that. Number two, men care about their image and their status in society. So when they're sitting around a circle, what does your wife do? 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 Oh yeah, my wife is an OnlyFans girl. They're gonna feel that from the other men, and they're gonna be like, yeah, bro, you're here, blah, whatever, whatever. But there's some men who are gonna be like, I don't give a fuck, bro. I don't give a shit.
that's
My
hot.
and that's fine. And that's fine. But most men are not cool with that.
But I think
ask you
most
a
men are
question?
insecure.
What percent of men don't give a shit, would you say? Just by talking to men. And actually don't, because men will tell you things to get laid. Like, for
I'll say-
example, guys will be like, oh, 6 foot, like, tall gingers are my type. Yeah, okay.
I'll
It's
give
like
you my
they just
standard
say things.
answer for any type of
Okay.
question like this.
Okay.
And it might be higher or lower. I always implement the 80-20 rule. That's with
Okay.
anything.
Okay.
80-20 rule. 80% of men are not going to be comfortable with this. There's going to be some exceptions, right? Some dudes that are just, hey, I'm down
Now,
for whatever.
What percent of the 20% would you say make enough money? Or be okay with it and make enough
Well,
money?
only 87% make over 100 grand anyway. Sorry, 13% make over 100 grand. So 87% are not going to be in your category anyway. So if you're just going to do quick math and you're going to say, all right, if there's 100 guys, 87 of them are out. Now, of those 13, okay, so 80% of that. So now, so 10 men are out. So you have 3 men out of 100 who make over 6 figures that may be willing to wife up an OnlyFans girl. Not saying it's not realistic. Unicorns do kind of exist at this point, but 3% of men would be cool with this. That's my number.
Okay.
What do you think?
No, I'd say you're right.
That's it. Drop the mic. We're done here, guys. Deli, from your perspective, would you wife up an OnlyFans girl?
No, sir.
You would not.
No.
And would you reveal how much money you make a year?
About 40 grand.
So so he makes 40 grand. He's a little above average. And do you have a girlfriend?
No.
Okay, now why wouldn't for this conversation, you're how old? 23?
23, yeah.
So you're a young guy, you don't make six figures, you're a young dude. Let's just say for the state of this conversation, you're an average man.
Okay.
I think you happen to be above average. He's a great editor. And he's a great friend. Why wouldn't you, as an average man, wife up an OnlyFans girl? What is it to you? Forget about me. Forget about the fact that I'm this dude, I host a show and I make money. You're the average dude. You're playing the average dude. Why would you not wife up an OnlyFans girl?
I just think I'm more focused on the past. I don't really want to think about that the whole time I'm with you, that you're hitting up somebody else or maybe making money by flirting with somebody else. It's just not my thing at all.
And is there a part of you, and it's okay, because I'll admit it, that maybe you're a little insecure about that? Who's this dude? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know. Because men are concerned about a woman's past, and a woman is concerned about a man's future.
So what about
Right?
transparency? Like if the woman is like, here's my OnlyFans login, go ahead, see whatever you want. Like they're fully ingrained with what they're doing and have that
I
transparency.
feel like that's the worst thing you could do.
I don't know. I feel
Why?
like when it comes to
You want your man to see exact. So here's my advice to you, and this is my advice to all women. Once you've done it already, the cat's out the bag. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Meaning, like, no guy's gonna be like, yeah, she was doing OnlyFans, but she quit. She quit for me, and she stopped. The fact that you're already doing it,
Yeah.
you're labeled an OnlyFans girl. Keep rocking. Like my advice to you as your friend who's has you on the
Yeah.
show, you've already done it.
Yeah.
Your titties are on camera.
Yeah.
You did it already. It'd be for the like if Nat was ever gonna do this, I'd say, Nat, I know your mama, I know your papa. These are the things I would like you to consider before you do this. But once she's already gone down that path,
Too late.
she belonged to the streets, and that's it. She's a streetwalker at that point.
But I also think like men also value privacy with their women. You know, like I'm sure like a guy wouldn't want to be like, bro, look at your girl. Look, I follow her OnlyFans. You know.
Yeah.
So I think that's where like men because like you said, men can be insecure and they are insecure. Shoot, I can be insecure sometimes. So I think because of that. That is a big trigger for men. You know, the idea of like my homeboys watching my girl. I think that's where they get a little bit uncomfortable. And I don't know. There's value in privacy. There's value in those things. So it really just depends like the life you want. And I feel like you'll be able to find the person who will accept that. You know, in certain places.
I think that there's like nothing sexier though than like a man who knows what he wants and doesn't give a fuck, and he's really strong in who he is and his own masculinity to not let that bother him. And there are those men out there.
But I just think it's selling a dream. Like remember, 45%, one out of every two of us is expected to be single and childless. So a lot
By
of
2030.
So a lot of girls, there's no happy ending. It's buy a dog and die alone. And I think it sounds nice to say, oh, there's someone for everyone. You have the right person, but it's just not true.
Yeah. By the way, you have no idea. Like, I respect what you guys do. You guys own it, and that's amazing. And if you were gonna stop doing OnlyFans, I would say, why? You're already making money. You're already killing it. You've already gone down that path.
Yeah, but I don't even look at you girls as like these OnlyFans terrorist women that like everybody says. Like,
but that's the
OnlyFans
reality.
are hoes. Like, I don't look at you ladies. Like, I look at you as comedians, as talent.
Oh, no,
like, for me, I don't even like that. Like, kind of just
but it's like
forget about
they're
it.
funny and likable. I mean, OnlyFans girls can be funny, likable, like cool, like.
Yeah.
But it's just you have to understand that's how men see it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound nice. And I'd rather say, oh, there's someone for everyone that sounds nice.
By the way, I fully endorse that. The reason that I have you guys on the show is because I think you're great. I think you're amazing.
We're not insulted right now.
No.
You don't need to like explain. I mean, I like the words of affirmation,
but hear me out. Like I said before, I'll hang out with you guys. I'll party with you guys. I'll bang an OnlyFans girl. I'm just not going to marry them. There's a big distinction. There's a big distinction. So if you want this high value man that makes $10 million a year, that does all this, that's going to pay for all your shit, why would he pick someone like you when he can pick a girl that hasn't exposed herself on camera? That's the question that you need to ask. Here's my final point to you, and then we'll move on. You never know what will trigger that man. That man you're talking about, this confident man, he's great, he's gonna accept me for who I am. All it takes is one stupid situation to happen where his grandma asks him, I heard your girlfriend's a hoe. And he's like, what? Or some dude sends a picture to the group chat with all his buddies. Yo, and he's being funny / a dickhead. Yo, check out Doug's girl naked, and now his boys are clowning on him. So you never know what's
I
gonna
would say you
trigger
had
a dude.
bad
I was about to say he's not choosing the right men to be around. If that's the
Stop
type of
it.
that's
Stop
so
it.
true.
This is
He's
what
not
guys do.
surrounding
This
himself with the
No,
right
no,
men.
that's
you guys,
deflecting.
you guys are
That's
looking at
deflecting.
it as a woman.
Yeah.
So,
Is he
like-
also
like,
not
if-
choosing the right grandma?
Yeah, fuck his grandma. I hope she dies.
Yeah, we
That's what
Fuck your ass, grandma.
If my grandma's dead, his grandma can't be alive.
Wow.
I have a question for you, Adam.
Yeah.
A nice little ultimatum. So if you found your ideal woman and she was just exactly what you wanted, but you guys got married, you had your first kid already, and we'll say 3 years into the marriage, first kid, yeah, take your sip of water. You found out that she used to do OnlyFans 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But her content was deleted, but there's maybe like 1 or 2 photos out there. Would you initiate a divorce?
Haram.
Would you?
Because
Would
two
you?
reasons why.
even
Two
though you're
reasons
kids?
why.
Yeah.
Two
you're
reasons
a
why.
kid. You're a kid.
Number
in,
one,
3
lied.
years married.
Number one, she lied. Because you best believe I'm going to ask that question up front.
Okay. But
you
if
best
but
believe.
if you didn't
Have
ask
you
that
ever
question,
done only? No, there's no if.
No, I
there's
think
no.
keeping-
Hey, if you
keeping
forgot to
secrets,
ask your
you might
wife
as
if there's
well.
any
She should have been
skeletons in the
upfront about
closet, I would expect every man out there before they fucking propose to get married. What don't I know about you? What am I going to find out about you 5 years from now that it's going to make me want to divorce you? Tell me now. And also, there's going to be a prenup. And by the way, I want her to ask me that. Like before I started with Valuetainment, you know what Pat asked me?
What?
He said, before you get hired, tell me everything that I'm going to find out right now.
Love that.
Up front. I go, Pat, I used to party a lot as a kid, never got in trouble. People will tell you stories that Adam, we used to go out and be wild, but there's no jail stuff, there's no nothing, got no criminal stuff, I've never ripped anybody off. The worst thing you're gonna hear about me is, yo, that dude could party. And he's like, fuck yeah, bro. But the point
That
is,
was a good question.
I'd like to know all the skeletons in the closet up front.
Okay.
Good question.
Well, what
Okay.
about the
So
girls
you would
that
divorce
send
her?
nudes for free?
I don't know if I would divorce her at that point.
They're
if we've
free whores. You'd marry a free whore?
Okay, say that question again.
I said, what about girls who are constantly texting dudes, sexting dudes, sending nudes? The most women are doing that with men that they're interested in.
Yeah.
And they're doing it for free. And those same nudes
Yeah.
have been passed around in group chats because you just
Well,
said
this will be an
men
answer
are.
of don't listen to what I do, listen to what I say, okay? Because you girls out there that are sending me nudes, respect to you, keep them calm. However, I'll tell you that those girls are actually bad business women. If you're just throwing your shit out there, at least get paid for it.
You might as well start
I
an
have,
OnlyFans.
I have a question. Okay,
ahead.
would you pick a girl? She's got 3 bodies, but she was on OnlyFans, or 50 bodies, but-
And never on OnlyFans.
and never on OnlyFans?
That's a
Great
good one.
question.
That's a great question.
I like that.
That's
Guys,
a
we gotta
good
take a quick break right now.
You can't say neither.
I would say
It's not fun unless we pick
if
one.
I had to pick one, I would pick. Fuck.
Yeah. Think about it.
So it's 3 bodies. I mean, her body count.
yeah.
But she was on OnlyFans.
Yes.
Versus 50
That's
bodies.
a great question.
Okay, I have one question for you.
She's not fucking on OnlyFans.
Okay, thank you. My question for you is, how old is she?
Let's say mid-20s, 25.
Are you
You're
talking
tight.
about me?
By 25. Okay, so by 25, if you fucked 50 dudes,
Okay, what if I'm
you're
gonna,
out.
I'm gonna lower it.
I'm gonna take the
I'm gonna,
3 girls
I'm gonna
with the
lower it. I want to
OnlyFans.
know when it
Really?
switches.
Yeah.
I want to know when it switches. So 30 bodies. Who you picking?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the 30 girl.
Now you're okay. 40
Yeah.
bodies.
But how would you know her
Yeah.
bodies? She's
Yeah, I
but
don't know.
this is
That's,
like you wouldn't.
Okay,
like,
but
Yeah.
this is
Because
But
you have
these are-
OnlyFans, you have
That's
proof. You have
Okay, but this-
history.
in this
she's taking shit
hypothetical.
literally. I'm playing games with you over here, bro.
I'm trying to help
Yeah.
you.
He's trying to
Adam.
avoid the question because he'd pick the OnlyFans girl.
Okay,
No,
so
he'd
I
pick
think-
her at 50.
So the question
40
is this.
where it sort of
So the
switches.
question is this: doing OnlyFans is worth how many
Yeah,
bodies?
that's my question.
Interesting.
That's the
Interesting.
question.
10 bodies, 20 bodies, 50
Yes.
bodies,
It
It also
100
depends
bodies.
what she's doing on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Does it not? Would that not sway more in that favor? If she's not.
I honestly, I swear to God, in my life, I've never been on OnlyFans, so I don't know
Okay.
what's doing on
Do you want us
OnlyFans.
to like educate you?
Yeah, I mean, give me the PG, The rated R and the rated X versions.
So I know girls who have never taken their underwear off and they like show their boobs. I know girls who never taken their underwear off and put nipple pasties on and they do like twerking and like nudes, but you don't see anything.
So that's PG-13. Got it.
So like Playboy
Go
type
to rated
content.
R.
Yeah, and then
What's rated R?
Then I have friends who would just do full-blown gangbangs.
Oh.
And that's,
and
that's
they're-
rated
and-
R?
And they have to like gangbangs, orgies, and then they have to like meet up with other men.
I'm out.
But
If
then
you've done
there's the
any of
easy
that
middle.
on camera, I'm out.
So 3 bodies and she's been gangbang on camera.
No, not that. No. OnlyFans already adds a body, and that's adding extra body.
Multiple bodies.
How could she gangbang? She only
If
has
my
3 bodies.
grandma, if my grandma, and she's like, I saw your girlfriend getting gangbanged on OnlyFans.
Here's the thing,
What's a gangbang? I'm out. I just
Here's
killed myself.
also with OnlyFans, you usually have to pay a monthly subscription. Most girls, because it's good for business. It's bad for business to put your nudes out there for free or even after a subscription. You have the pay-per-view messages. So like my feed looks like someone's normal Instagram feed, like me in bikinis and like I don't know, lingerie
Well, here's
or like
the deal.
whatever.
You keep doing you. I don't know. I got to get back to you on that. We got a last
You gotta
couple
answer
questions.
before the end.
I told you. Like, what is?
It was
So which
around
one did you
30.
pick?
Around 30, he picked the girl with the 30 bodies.
Okay.
50,
Yeah.
50 he was
But
picking
by-
the OnlyFans girl.
Girl, if you did 50, lie. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
what?
Okay. Last couple questions here. Let's keep it quick. Let's keep it simple because I'd like to be out of here in 15
Yeah,
minutes.
I
We'll
got
do
some
super
chats,
chat,
yeah.
and then I know Pearl probably needs to use the restroom at this point. I knew it. I knew it. She tried to be cool. Real quick, keep it simple. But this is a very important question, and I think that most men should ask this question to women before they settle down. And here's the question: what's your relationship like with your dad?
Oh man, you're asking the
That.
tough questions.
Pearl, what's your relationship like with your dad?
You already. I love my dad. I go to my dad for all my problems. He probably wishes that I went to him less sometimes.
He's like, Pearl, enough of you.
Yeah.
What's your relationship like with your dad?
Very good. I think that's a very important relationship, especially like as a young woman. That's probably the best person that's able to set an example of a standard of a man that you should have.
Shout out to Marvin.
So shout out to the men who are good dads out there.
Jamie, what's your relationship like with your dad? Or what was
Every
it?
Sunday, you know, we have dinner and we have a good conversation, and then I look over at his ashes and I'm like, miss you, Dad.
What was it like when he was alive? Jesus Christ. Haram. What was it like when he was alive?
I would say not good because, well, when I was younger, like before 10, great, daddy's little princess. And then I was the one who caught him cheating and told my mom.
Ooh, okay.
And so I held a lot of like resentment because he left and then stole all my mom's money, and we went from being rich to being dirt poor. And so I was like, you're a piece of shit.
Emily, who's gazing into the limelight.
Yeah.
What's your relationship like with your dad?
Me and my dad have had a complicated relationship. I do love him very much, and I do go to him for a lot of my issues, and I view him as that like masculine. The other day I was like, Dad, what am I gonna do like when you die? Like I cried about it because my cat was sick, and I was like, Dad, what do I do? Like, am I gonna kill her if I make her have surgery? Is she gonna hate me for the rest of her life? He was like, she's a fucking cat. She's not gonna give a fuck. But I do love him very much.
Okay. You know, like they say, the dad's number one goal is to keep his daughter off the pole.
Yeah.
Goal and pole. Yeah. Now, this is me just throwing this out there. By the way, just to be vulnerable for you guys, I probably had a way worse relationship with my dad than anyone on this panel put together. But guys and their dad relationships, it's a little bit different than girls with their dad. You know, this is why they hear like daddy issues, daddy issues, daddy issues. Do you think, go with me here, that the more daddy issues a girl has, the more likely is she'll end up, quote unquote, on the pole, metaphorically speaking?
I would say it's less daddy issues and more financial. Or I would say a lot of girls go that route because they like the lifestyle.
That's also
Less about their dad. Like I have so many friends who have great relationships with their fathers, 2 parents in the household, they do OnlyFans and their parents know. And they still have a great relationship with their dad.
Okay.
So
Yeah, everyone listening right now, text your mom, text your dad, tell them you love them. Just do that. That's just a PSA right there. And I'm going to do the same to my mom.
Yeah.
And when I have dinner with my father's ashes later, I'll be thinking of you. Respect. Last couple questions. Scenario. You girls, you're dating a guy for less than a month. You're dating, though. It's not like official, but it's at that phase where it's like you've been on dates. It's clearly a thing, but it's not boyfriend and girlfriend. You're dating a dude, less than a month. You get invited on a millionaire's yacht with all your girlfriends.
Yeah.
What do you tell your guy?
That I got invited on a millionaire's yacht with all my girlfriends. We're going to go have fun.
Okay, and you want him to be cool with that?
Yeah, because I want him to be able to trust me. When I go on yachts or boats, I'm not going on these boats to try to get with a guy.
Okay, when he says,
usually
hey, babe,
ugly.
it would make me really
Let's be real.
uncomfortable if you go on this yacht and do this sort of yacht thottery. I would prefer you don't go.
Yeah.
What would you say?
You know, that's an interesting question. I would say maybe we are not meant to be. No, I would have a
It's yacht
conversation.
time, motherfucker!
What if he was
I gotta
making?
go take shrooms on a yacht, baby.
What if
Okay.
he was making the 50 million?
So I think I would also have a conversation with him, and I'd be like, hey, what's making you feel this way? What can I do to make you feel more secure? What has made you feel insecure in the past? And talk about like our baggage. I would definitely have a conversation.
I'm sure that's
but I
exactly
also
what he
think
wants to do. Talk about his baggage.
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
maybe
real
he
quick.
doesn't want to.
Real quick, answers, not questions.
Sorry.
What would you do in that exact same scenario? You get invited on a millionaire's yacht. What would you tell your new man? You've been together less than a month.
Less than a month.
And
And
he's
he knows you do
ideal?
OnlyFans? Okay?
Okay. Yeah, I would say I'm going on the yacht.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if it's less than a month. I'm not
Pearl,
like that committed.
you're dating a dude. It's been a month. You get invited on a yacht. You're here in Miami. You've never been on a yacht. I don't know if you have or not. You get invited on a millionaire's yacht. What would you say to your man?
And this guy's, he's husband material.
He is, yeah, you're dating him. He's
Well, then, who cares? What is the yacht guy gonna marry me? No.
okay.
So why am I throwing away a good relationship for a dude that like he doesn't want anything?
Would you
with
tell
me?
him? Say, hey, by the way, I got invited to this yacht. What would you like me to do?
That's happened to me before. I got a really good, like when I was smaller, I got a really good collab, and my boyfriend at the time said that he wasn't okay with it. I didn't go
Yeah. Okay.
until we broke up.
Gotcha.
Then when you broke up, did you feel like you wish you went?
No, because I felt like I was loyal to him. Like I that's who I, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, who you are.
Well,
But-
he
Right.
said not committed. I'm not committing to any man until he's committing to me. So until then, I do what I want.
Well, you know, be careful what you wish for because with that attitude, he may never commit to you.
Then I find the next man.
Next
For
thing
me, like I really value like somebody who's comfortable and confident and like lets me just I don't know. Especially like okay, say we go out together. We typically like me and my boyfriends will separate and we're both lives of the party or talking to everyone. We come back and we're like, yeah, we're a team, and then we go do our thing and they're comfortable with me like hanging out, talking to friends. I would view that the same thing. Like I'm here with my girls. We're on OnlyFans. Like we do OnlyFans. I don't know.
But this is the same problem I was talking about with my brother dating an OnlyFans girl because it's me before us, when it should be us first. Like, how are you gonna have a family when it's
But
me?
how do you-
when it's my feelings and my emotions before us?
So how do you know though, as a woman, that that man is actually committed? Like you're saying he's
You-
committed, just like
you-
a lot of
you
men
won't-
say it. So you don't really know.
You don't even know
There's-
it's not even committed yet.
Yeah,
You've only
it's
been
not
dating
committed.
a month.
But is he
you're-
ideal?
you're
So how do
running-
I know he's serious and not
you're
playing a
never you're
dream?
never gonna know, but you have to go into things with good faith because you have previous trauma. You can't put that on a guy who's done
But
nothing
he's
to you.
taking his previous trauma and assuming that we're going to fuck this millionaire
no, he's not.
instead of
He's
trusting
saying,
us.
He's saying, like, I think that's pretty reasonable.
Because
to not
here's
want
what's
a guy to go-
here's actually what happens. Here's what happens. You don't tell him, or
I would
you
never
say-
not tell him.
Okay. Let's say you
Yeah.
don't. Let's go down the list here. Number one, Pearl's thing is, let me tell you up front. If he says, "Hey, I prefer you don't go," she doesn't go. If he says, "Hey, cool, I trust you," at least he knows he gave the blessing. Let's say you don't tell him, okay? Or let's say you kind of say, "Well, listen, I know this makes you uncomfortable, but I'm going to do it anyway." Here's what happens. There's this thing called Instagram, and he's going to see something on Instagram of, and if you're on a yacht and you're in Miami and there's chicks on the yacht, there is thottery like no other. Shout out to the guys with the yacht who are helping these ladies live in their dreams. And he's gonna see this. He's gonna see twerking going on. He's gonna see bikinis going on. There's gonna probably be 10 dudes and 50 women. Okay, and he's gonna see this, And what he's going to think is like, just another trick ass hoe in Miami. I actually like this girl. And he's just going to be like, I don't know. So what you need to ask yourself as a woman is to say, do I actually see myself with this guy? Do I give a fuck about his feelings? If so, maybe I shouldn't go on this yacht. Or if the answer is, you got to accept me if you don't accept me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best kind of a thing.
I see what you're saying.
Then that's what's going to happen.
How is he showing me that he's looking at my emotions and trying to make sure that I'm doing what I want to do as well? If I'm only looking out for him, is he not then supposed to look out for me if we're a team?
Fair question. Fair question. But life is not fair. Because men do not like promiscuous women. Women actually appreciate a dude that can get some pussy. That's just the way life works.
I would
Pearl,
definitely
am I
say
wrong on that?
You're absolutely right. Every girl on my show comes on and says how they hate cheaters, blah, blah, blah. But the only ex y'all talk about is the one that cheated on you. That's the only one you talk about. I don't hear any stories from the boring guy who was faithful to you. Never.
Yep.
And you never had one of those.
And you know, if he's in her mouth, she still loves him on some level.
I would say if he's showing all of the right signs, like good communication skills, like he's showing me that he's like, he wants me.
Yeah.
I would definitely have a conversation. And in that conversation, I would gauge what kind of man he is. Is he asking and he feels uncomfortable for X, Y, and Z? Some of those reasons to me wouldn't be valid, but some of them, and I think like a certain man could show me, and I'd be like, you know what, maybe that's not the best idea. If we were dating and a man's uncomfortable, then I'm absolutely gonna listen.
Last question.
But I'm not going to. If that becomes a habit that every time I want to go out with my friends, you're like, no, stay in. I don't like that.
This is a headache to a guy of a girl that doesn't listen, and he has to argue with every time he asks her to do something. It's like a headache.
But
Disagreeable women. I have to stop it here because we got to go. By the way, you guys are all invited on my yacht this weekend. So text and inform whatever boyfriend you need to do. Last question, then we'll do super chats and we're going to wrap up. Let's say you meet this dude. It's a great dude. The man you're thinking of, it's great. He's making $70K. He's killing it. He's making, 100. He's doing his thing. You meet the dude. You meet the dude, okay, of your dreams, all right? How willing are you, if he's willing to commit, how willing are you to submit where he's the boss, he's the leader, you're the co-pilot?
Yeah.
How willing are you to be that girl for your man, but he's the leader?
Oh, very.
How willing?
Very willing.
Very willing.
You're willing.
Take
Very
me away.
willing.
I don't want to have to think about anything. Just you go. Tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm very willing. That's what I'm looking
Wow.
for. I don't want to.
You contradict yourself. That's not what you're looking for if you're going to argue with him every time you have to go out.
I think having a conversation, labeling it as an argument, is completely problematic.
That's how men see it.
But
I don't
if
make
that's
the
how a man
rules.
sees
That's
it,
how
then
men
that's
see
not
it.
my man.
Having to have that's how men see it. Having to have a conversation.
So that
every
sounds like
single
it's
time.
like
it's
a form of
headache to
control.
them. It's
We need to be able to communicate to
that's
have a
what
relationship.
happens when you submit. You give him control.
All right, and we'll leave it right there with that. Ladies, this has been very illuminating. This is amazing. Nat, you got some super chats and we'll wrap up.
I do got some super chats for you.
By the way, shout out to you guys all watching right now. We'll do super chats. You got to run to the restroom and then come back so you can give your final 2 cents.
Awesome. So thank you
Deli,
all for the super chats.
Would you help her get there? Pearl, go that way.
Good. All right, so thank you for the super chats. We appreciate each and every one of you. We'll start with Waldemar Perez Jr. No exceptions, red flag, and St. Mary was not a prostitute. There's never been evidence of that. Well, it's debatable.
You just got St. Married, girl.
She was a little hot.
got
Okay.
I thought it was Magdalene.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then Sauce,
Jewish.
love the show, man. This is from King Jimmy. He says, Sauce, love the show, man. Pearl, love your mindset. Hope you find your king. Headed home from the overseas military deployment. Can't wait to get back. Let me get that Don DeMarco. Much love.
Is that Jimmy?
Jimmy,
shout out to you. Thank you for your service, brother. Safe travels. Get home safe.
Yes, thank you, Jimmy. Then we have Scott Andes. He said, Pearl, you just met at 10 and he wants to get married and have children, but he wants you to cut out your social media business. What do you do?
I was
She
going to
said
ask
she
her
would
that
do it.
question.
She said I asked her that
She
last
said
time.
she would.
She said she would do
Can I
it.
ask her a
She's
question
trying to
when she comes
duplicate
back?
that. Yeah, sure.
And then we have Zen. I think he did another chat with how to pronounce his name, but I'll get to that in a second. Zen Tenants. Mary Magdalene, God forgives, men do not. That's a good one, but men
wow.
should too. Retired OnlyFans become chosen. The saying "you can't turn a hoe into a housewife" is for a reason. Retired OnlyFans is just an older hoe, just like a reformed criminal is still a criminal. Falcon Blizzak, F a blended family. John Mason, thank you,
Johnny
John Mason.
Mace?
John Mace. We got beaten cheeks again. He said, these OnlyFans girls don't bring the value in the relationship. Nat and Pearl do. Only Simps have set these rules to take OnlyFans girls serious. Beating cheeks again. I can't be insecure if I have a 666 rule. Quit trying to cap low G's, ladies. Gus, simp equals sucker that idolizes mediocre. Then we have Zentinent. What right girl would sell their morals body for $3 on OnlyFans? Men want respect while cultivating social prominence. How respectful is it for men to know his peers / men below him have seen her nude or known of her orgies? Afro National, when women define masculinity. Gus, only simp would accept a OnlyFans hoe. Deja the Charger. With the OnlyFans, you're cheating. Here's why. Guys can pay for direct nudes and skimpy photos, etc. It's not suddenly not cheating because it's an iMessage. Nat nailed it. That this is, I was typing this and finished when I start. Nat is doing amazing. Thanks. Zentinence, crazy. Oh, he said OnlyFans.
Zentience. He super chats to me.
Yes, he does. I'm so sorry.
Zentience. We miss you. Come back. He's a good super chatter.
Yeah, he is. He's often on here. He said, men can and I will lose business opportunities with hoes as wives. If your man peers see him with her, they view him as a bad judge of character and can't trust your man for business. Butter peanut. Both men and women value humility and restraint in areas where other sex has advantages. For men, confident but not cocky, strong but not abusive. For women, attractive but sexually selective. Small pound, stop using shame language for men having standards. It is not insecure. You have to be very secure with yourself if you set and uphold your own standard.
Ooh, I like that. Who was that?
This was Small Pound. Small Pound.
Let me give you a pound right there.
Ding.
But just a small
For
one
you.
right there. Bing. Okay.
Last few.
And he said what again?
He said, stop using shame language for men having standards. It's not insecure. You are very secure with yourself if you set and uphold your own standard.
That's actually a thing I've heard you talk about before. Women have standards. Anytime that a woman says, I want a man who makes 6 figures, he's 6 foot, he's good looking, it does this, no one like bats an eye.
Except on my show.
Yeah, okay. And then, but if a guy's like, yeah, I want a fit girl who like doesn't talk back and cooks and cleans and like is a good housewife, it's like, you're a piece of shit, bro. You're a chauvinist. Double standards. It's a real thing.
Then we have Xavier Foster. Men are insecure with women's questionable past because we also want to secure our future. Remember this. This is not insecurity. We prefer our own blood kids and no social blemish in our legacy and reputation image. And then we have SB. I have never been so repulsed by an interview like this. Honestly, this is like Beijing taking over the world at this point. Why should I contribute such degenerate society allow promotion of literal hosts?
How much did that guy give?
That was $20.
Fuck yeah. Thank you for that 20 bucks.
He was repulsed.
And then we also had this one. Let me get it up again. He had this one that says, oh, this was the pronunciation. It's pronounced Zentience. Shout out to Pearl, an amazing metric. Guessing she says that incorrectly. Rice. I'll see you back on your show. Keep up the great work. Emily, you look
like a dumb whore?
No, you look 40. Read into recreational use.
I can concur. She does not look 40.
Yeah, she does not look 40. I don't know what you're saying.
You got to give the girls
She
a
looks
shout out for like
really
not,
young.
you know,
Yes.
succumbing to negative comments. You probably get it a lot. So.
And then
Respect.
it's Zentience.
I thought so, but sometimes I get the names. I call him Zentience.
Okay, so Zentience, this was a comment towards me, which I appreciate. He said, Nat, I say this respectfully. Get some reading glasses and English reading classes. Butchered both chats.
Glasses
At
and
least I read your
glasses.
chats, okay?
Yo,
Glasses
he
and
does this to
glasses.
me too. He roasts me too on mine. It's harder than they think.
Yes, it is. But that's it for the super chats that we have. Let me make sure because I think Deli sent me one more.
Like, but do men care if women can read?
No, you're all good.
Oh,
Yes.
last
they,
few.
They do care if you could read.
I
Because you're
think
gonna
I
need
read
to
them,
read the
Deli.
baby
I read
formula
these,
while
Deli.
you're taking care of the
Oh,
baby.
I thought we
And
only
the
could
prenup.
breastfeed.
And the prenup.
Yeah, you gotta
We
read
don't
the
care if you read the prenup.
Yes.
Just
No.
sign it.
Other than that, thank you all for
These are
this-
jokes, guys.
Yeah, thank you guys all for the super chats. We really appreciate it. You know, I'm working on my reading so I can read all your chats for you guys. But thank you so much. Make sure you guys like and subscribe so we can have more conversations like this and more entertaining shows like this.
Yeah, this has been great.
Yeah.
It's now time for the happy ending. Wrap up real quick. Let's start with the two girls, one blunt, and then we'll end with Pearl. Biggest takeaway from this episode, what do you want the people at home to know about you, your message, and what you learned here today? I'm talking with you, 40-year-old lady.
Biggest takeaway. Apparently, I need Botox. So I'm gonna go right now and get some Botox. Then maybe kill myself and cry myself to sleep.
Don't
later
kill yourself.
tonight.
I'm just
I don't
gonna be-
know. Okay, I don't know what you did or what COVID strain you got, but you look fantastic. It
Yeah.
looks like you're fitter and you lost some weight.
Yeah.
So
And I might go
basically, I
make
was
out with
a fat
a
whale.
homeless man right now just to catch something to lose 5 pounds.
No, thank you so
Okay.
much for having us on, Adam
As
and Nat.
always.
This was a great show. Pearl, thank you for talking with us both on your show and here. I think it was a great conversation. I've definitely got a lot to think about.
I feel like I get dumber when I have these conversations.
Or maybe you feel dumber and
No,
you get
I think
smarter.
that there's not a lot of openness to other viewpoints, and I find that very unattractive.
Okay,
And
well, I
I
have to address that. What do you think we were not open to?
Just immediately hearing like, nope, it's not like that, rather than asking questions to really understand.
Are you talking
It's
about
like
me or
we're
Pearl?
pawns to come on all of these podcasts for confirmation bias to prove the things that you guys already have and like those beliefs, rather than bringing like and having deeper conversations to really understand us. They're like questions that already have. It's like a leading question.
I respectfully disagree because I'll say what I've said many a times. And whether it's you or other girls who come on, I'm cool with you. We've hung out outside of these shows. I would totally hang out with you. I've hooked up with OnlyFans girls. I'm totally friends with the girls. I respect you girls. It's nothing but respect. The one caveat is I would very much warn men for marrying women with checkered pasts. That's all it is. There's nothing bad with saying that.
Yeah.
Okay? That's it. You want to rebuttal that? Or?
Are you talking to the men and telling them that
I'm
they
talking
should
to
be?
men, yes.
But wait 1 sec. Are you talking to the men about their checkered past and making sure that they're also holding themselves accountable? Are
What's
you
a man's checkered past,
advising-
though?
If he's
Give me
just
the
as
most
promiscuous,
checkered past the guy has done. Promiscuous?
Yeah.
That's a compliment for most men.
Is it a
You want a
compliment?
man that can. You okay?
Inability.
You.
Me.
Real quick. Do you want a man,
Yeah.
30 years old,
Yeah.
who has slept with one girl, or a handful of girls?
Personally, I would want a guy. I don't really care how many you've slept with. I don't care about body count or anything like that. But if you can sleep with one woman and keep her satisfied for years, then you know how to read your woman's body like a fucking
It was
T.
one time, and he didn't keep her satisfied. It was just one body in college.
Yeah.
And now he's 30 and hasn't been with a woman since.
No, I would not fuck a man who's only had sex once. But
Exactly.
neither you would not fuck
And
a
that's
woman
my
who's only had
point.
sex
And
once.
that's my
I wouldn't
point.
be mad at that,
Pearl,
though.
go
I
ahead. We'll
wouldn't be
continue
Wait,
this
Adam,
conversation.
would you
Yes.
have sex with a girl that's only had sex one time?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so it's not.
But
the
I'd
same.
also have sex with a girl that had sex
Okay,
100
would
times.
you marry a girl?
I
that's
just
had-
wouldn't marry a girl
Okay,
like
would
that.
you marry a girl that's had sex one time?
Yeah, but I'm not into this whole I want
Okay,
a virgin
okay.
thing. That's
She's
weird
not a
to me.
virgin.
No,
Wow.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to me. But
okay.
I don't mind a girl that's had multiple dudes. I just don't want 20, 50, haram 100, whatever. That's just not how it works.
So what was the final thoughts now, or what am I
Well,
saying?
I was addressing Jamie because she was saying that she's a pawn, but I actually think it's anything but. I actually respect you. I think you're great. I think you're cool. Any dude
I
would be
wasn't
lucky.
necessarily saying.
No,
you.
I know.
But I
I'm-
feel like a lot of
Oh,
people
me?
bring on girls that, not even just you, that like anyone in the space, they bring on girls that confirm like their bias already.
I'm going to tell
And
you
that
this.
is a
I've said it
pattern.
on camera. I've said it off camera. You keep doing you.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now.
I appreciate.
Keep
that.
doing you.
Oh, I am.
Okay, good.
Okay, I would like to say that I've had virgins on my show. So
Men or women?
Female.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would just like to say I have all different types of women on my show. And two, thank you for having me. Appreciate being here.
Of course, Pearl.
It's crazy because the first time I was here, I was at like what 50,000 subs.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And
No,
now,
I
when did you hit a
that.
million?
Today.
The 4th.
Oh.
Was that yesterday? The 5th?
Yeah.
Today the 5th?
What did you
Yesterday.
do to celebrate?
I said, yay.
And that's Pearl for you. She didn't have a drink. She didn't celebrate. She didn't go to parties. She said, yay. Anyway, that's awesome.
Yes.
Nat, final takeaway, and we'll wrap up.
I just want to say thanks for having a space where we can have different mindsets and personalities come on here and prove their point. Like, Jamie said, there aren't very many places where people feel very open to share their personal story and the reasons why they do what they do. So I just want to say I'm grateful for being that platform for many women, that they feel comfortable where they won't be attacked for certain decisions they've made, and give a fair platform for that voice. And
This is definitely my favorite platform.
yeah. So I
Thank you.
appreciate you girls feeling
Thank
like
you.
that's, for me, that's really important that we're that for the world.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. I
Thank you
appreciate
for having
that.
me. But I feel
Of
like for
course.
my audience and the people who are coming over, and I know a lot of girls who watch these types of podcasts to figure out what's going on, I know a lot of them feel that way. So
Right.
that's,
Yeah.
I have to say it.
Well, I'll just say this. I thank you, especially Pearls, that you just hit 1 million. Congratulations. Thank you. I thought you did great last week with the fees. You'll be on tomorrow with Destiny.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. Here's my point to the audience out there. The whole point of these types of shows is for different perspectives. Not everyone is going to be Pearl.
yes.
Not every girl is an OnlyFans girl. There's a wide gamut of women. And as a man, you need to understand what you're into. I've been very open. I've dated OnlyFans girls. I'm just not going to marry one. That's fine. Okay? I've dated. I also don't want a fucking traditional virgin. That's kind of weird to me. What year are we in? However, so as a man out there, the one thing you can control is what you do. Okay? The amount of money you make, how hard you work, what types of women you keep in touch with, who you choose to affiliate with. It's on you. As a man, it is your job to keep improving and keep improving your status. That's the one thing you can't control. And once you reach a great status, you can make a Pearl, you can meet a Pearl, you can give a Natalia, you can have a Jamie, you can have an Emily. Hell, you played your cards right, you get Jamie and Emily. 2 for 1, 2 girls, 1 blood.
That's only if you're Michael B. Jordan.
Boom. Shout out to you. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel. We do this for you every Thursday, every Friday. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you tomorrow
Yes.
with the lovely Pearl back again with Destiny and actually a surprise guest as well. Until then, we'll see you next time. Save that money. We out.
Save that money.
Oh, by the way, thanks Heather for being here.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I have to pee so bad.
Smug, smug.
Okay.
Nice.